Excellent.
Yes.
All right, so the big story, the indictment against Sean Diddy Combs, as we spoke of a little bit about yesterday, has been revealed now. The music artist and business mogul was arrested on Monday, but it wasn't confirmed why. The arrest followed his homes being raided by the government back in March, which were believed to be connected to a federal sex trafficking investigation at the time. And now it's been revealed that Combs has been formally charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. In the unsealed indictment, Combs was described as the boss of a criminal group that abused women and forced them to participate in drug-fueled sex parties called freak-offs.
Wow.
Yeah.
The indictment also says women were threatened with violence as well as the loss of financial support if they refused to participate. If found guilty, it's possible that the artist could be behind bars for the rest of his life. Combs, who pled not guilty, has been denied bail despite offering a $50 million bond while seeking in-home detention. The judge instead ordered that Combs be detained while he awaits trial. The artist's lawyers say that they will appeal the denial of bail. No trial date has been scheduled yet, but there's more interesting details. Combs allegedly kept videos of the freak-offs and would use the videos as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims, according to the government. No victims are named in the indictment. And when federal agents raided his homes in March, law enforcement reportedly seized narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant that were allegedly for the freak-offs.
Jesus Christ, man.
How does this go on for so long? And, like, we're
Well,
just hearing about this.
He just said it. The blackmail capability.
Yep.
So they're able to suppress it.
But I
and
mean,
apparently,
people on
I know.
people on the outside had to know that he was doing this. Like, how did nobody tip this off and get this?
look
stopped?
at Epstein, or look at Weinstein. The whole thing with Hollywood. There were a number of people making allusions to what was going on with Harvey Weinstein for years,
But never fully came out
Never
and
fully
said,
acted
yeah.
on it. Look, the whole Bill Cosby thing was kind of known, but it takes that one match to be lit. And in this case, this is his.
Yeah, and it also takes people to come forward that were on the victim side.
Yes.
You can have people that are saying, hey, I've seen this and so on. But until you have someone who's
need an
actually going to
actual
press
victim.
charges, I
Yeah.
think that's what really gets things going. The government also found 9 AR-15 style weapons at the artist's homes.
See, this is the difference between the super wealthy. I have about 3 AR-15s, and I have at most 500 bottles of lube.
Is this video we're watching? Is that the lube and the?
That's the lube.
Yeah, we're
Dear
looking at it.
God.
It's in a bathroom.
A huge lube room.
There's hundreds of bottles lined up. And 6 of those guns, by the way, reportedly had serial numbers intact, while 3 had their serial numbers defaced.
Wow.
Pretty wild. Wendy Williams, conservator, is suing A&E Networks, Lifetime, and the creators of her docuseries, Where is Wendy Williams? The conservator alleges that the group profited millions from exploiting her in a vulnerable state while she only earned $82,000.
And it's the big criticism of that series is that it was exploitive. I watched a bit of it. It kind of felt that way a little bit.
Yeah. The lawsuit claims the networks used invasive footage of Williams, who was suffering from dementia, and she did not have the capacity to consent. Williams' team argues that the docuseries damaged her credibility while the producers profited. The complaint seeks to recover those profits to support Williams' medical care. And this is just the latest development from her conservator, who opposed the docuseries and previously tried to stop it from being released as well.
You know what I saw though recently? I saw footage of her out. She was at some sort of holistic health food place, and she was shopping and she was interacting with the store owner, and she seemed pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I hope things are turning around for her. Let's see, what else do we have here for you? This is interesting. In his new book, An American Story, Everyone's Invited, Wilmer Valderrama shares a scary flight incident with his That 70s Show co-stars and friends. It turns out that while they were flying on a small chartered plane one time, carbon monoxide leaking inside the plane turned their flight into a pretty bumpy ride.
Wow.
Yeah. Other passengers on the plane include Ashton Kutcher and Colin Hanks. Kutcher and Valderrama actually ended up having to share oxygen masks as the plane made a bumpy landing. Valderrama says that after he landed, he called his mom. He didn't tell her about the scary incident so she wouldn't worry, but told her that he loved her. And this experience apparently became an important point in Valderrama's life, leading him to reflect on his career and life choices. He says that it led him to focus on living in the present.
I want to be the best Fez I can be.
He said all of us are going to die someday, and we have to prepare for what's next. But it's also important to live here and now, he says. So that might be a book I might pick up. He's had an interesting...
He sure has. The dude, yeah.
I mean, he went from kind of nobody character to like a heartthrob.
Yeah.
And he was with some pretty famous gals as well, but I'll bet he's got some interesting stories. All right, here's a pro tip. If you really want to score big on your birthday, get on Travis Kelce's friends list or his football team. Teammate and pal Patrick Mahomes celebrated his 29th birthday over the weekend, and Trav came through with a huge gift.
29.
Mahomes revealed that Kelce gifted him a high-end golf bag for his birthday. And I'm like, okay, high-end golf bag, whatever.
All right, so you're going to scrutinize this.
So he writes, Travis got me a Louis Vuitton golf bag, so that is going to be sweet.
That's weird. Is it the same as yours, Preston?
Yeah.
How much is a Louis Vuitton? Just because
You have a Louis C.K.
Just a Louis bag, a little handbag is $1,000.
So, Casey, you're probably looking at.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Which one was
30,000?
it? Does it show a picture, Preston?
I don't see a picture on it.
All right. What was your guess?
30,000.
Oh, you're close, Steve. So the cheapest looks like the cheapest one is 22,000, going up to over 30,000.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. The question is, though, Preston, simply because it's Louis Vuitton, is it a well-designed bag?
It's got to be. I mean, those things are all handmade. Now, I'm sure it's durable and everything, but...
Does it have all the right compartments and all the accoutrements?
That's what I would be curious
Right?
about. I would imagine they would consult somebody.
Okay.
So...
What do you look for in your golf bags?
You look for enough... separate baggage areas, little pockets and things that you can place. You can have for various different things. So, like I have a spot for my tees. I have a spot for my balls and rangefinder and gloves. I have a spot for stuff for my cigars I might want to smoke. You have to have separate little sections.
And simply because it's high end doesn't mean it's accommodating that.
Yep.
So let me ask you. The last $30,000 bag you purchased. Were you happy with it?
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and it has like I don't know. You said it needs different compartments. This does have different compartments, but it has this little cool thing. You clip it on that would hold your golf balls and the
like
tees.
a carabiner.
Yeah, it's an extra bag.
Like a little,
I see.
And you clip on.
Okay.
But the actual bag has different compartments too. I just thought that was cool.
Some people do that. They have this little extra nut sack that hangs on the side.
Yeah.
Is that your golf bag's nut sack?
That's what I was going to say.
All right, so
What is that?
get on his
That's your
list.
nutsack.
Thank you.
On his list. All right, a couple other things. This is interesting. Matthew Perry. If you're looking for a good deal on a prime Hollywood property, you may want to jump in on this. Perry's home, which he purchased just months before he died, is on the market, and the price has been slashed by almost $500,000. The asking price for the 3-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom home was reduced from $5,195,000 to $4,700,000.
Here's my concern: will it have enough room for my Louis Vuitton golf bag? The house is beautiful.
3-bedroom, 3.5-bath, and it's $4.7 million.
I wonder. So I wonder, in the world of real estate, Kathy, maybe your brother would know this. I'm sure he would. If there's a death in a residential situation, is there an immediate cut to this price of a house, or do you know what I'm saying?
Depends on the death, I guess, right?
You know what? I had this conversation with him not that long ago, and
like a notable death, or like a murder or something like that.
I forget what he said. It was a couple of years ago. We had this conversation because there was something that happened in our area. It was a murder-suicide. It was a husband and wife.
Right.
And
Does that, by its very nature, drive down the price of the house?
I mean, listen, I think if people know, but the conversation was, do they have to disclose that?
I think, do they?
I
They
don't.
don't?
I don't think.
So
They awake at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
This room wasn't originally painted red.
Yeah. So Chuck and Leanne, their beach house they got in Wildwood, the woman had passed away in the house. Now she was older. It wasn't anything like that, anything bad. But where she did, they call it the dead room, where
They know where she died?
they sleep where she died.
She died in the bed? Did they keep the bed?
Yeah.
They kept her bed?
Yeah, they sleep
didn't even
they sleep in the
replace
bed that she died in. Yeah.
Oh, I
Dude.
would have at least replaced the mattress.
So I went to, when my grandfather passed away, I went to, obviously, we were going to go to the funeral. They live in Kentucky. We go to the house. We're at the house. They wanted me to sleep in the bed that night that he died in. Like a day and a half before. And I'm like, no.
Did they wash the sheets?
I don't know. I didn't want to go in that room.
Can you at least take him out of the bed?
Just died in there.
He's right there.
I was very.
I agree with you.
And I was, you know.
And you slept in the bed with cockroaches.
And I was probably like 13 years old, and I was kind of like, yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah, Kathy. And I'm like, I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah. There's a new Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
Dead Sleeper.
M. Night Shyamalan
Dead
on the show
Sleep.
a little later this morning. By the way, I need to correct something.
Yes?
Earlier, apparently, I got Frankie Avalon and Frankie Valley mixed up.
Okay. You said Four Seasons.
And that was my fault.
Okay.
It's Frankie Avalon's birthday.
I was with you completely. I didn't even notice.
Nobody picked up on it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's my fault. So Frankie Avalon from, the Teen Beach movies and Frankie and Annette and that whole thing.
It's not as good.
Got it wrong. What was
He's
his
great.
one big hit? Volare? No.
Volare.
Was that him?
I don't know. Obviously, the Beach
Venus.
Venus is Venus. Oh, you Venus, you're
That's the one.
What about Beauty School Dropout?
That's him.
There you go.
Thank
we know
you.
those lyrics.
That's the hit. Beauty School
Drop out. You're just like Venus.
All right, a movie based on the video game The Sims is coming out.
Oh, my wife was addicted to The Sims for a while.
It was a lot of women like that game.
And she and I loved watching her play it, and she's very good at a lot of that was one of Preston, that was the oh my God, the sun is rising moments for her.
Oh,
where she got
all
she
night playing
got
it.
that into it.
Yeah, I tried it. It
Yeah.
bored
It bored the
hell
F out of me.
But I guess it's maybe people who want to play God, kind of. I guess you can.
Well, it's like there's one that you would build farms, and there was one for businesses and so on and so forth, and all these other little sub games. But yeah, it was addictive on that level.
So they're doing an adaptation. It's being co-produced by Margot Robbie's Lucky Chap Entertainment. Considering how she worked magic with Barbie, there's a reason for the game's fans to get excited about the adaptation. The plotline is under wraps, and the release date has not been chosen as of yet.
Minecraft, we have Sims, right?
Yeah, and here's another one. This is not a video game, but it's a throwback. John Cena is going to star in Matchbox, a live-action film based on the classic Mattel car toy line.
God, I love those cars.
Apple Original Films has acquired the project, which will be directed by Extraction filmmaker Sam Hargrave. It's the toy brand originally created in 1953 and then acquired by Mattel in 1997. And plot details are being kept under the hood. Cena, who recently appeared in Amazon's Jackpot, is also filming season 2 of Peacemaker and prepping for his farewell WWE tour in 2025. And then one more quick story, and then that is it. I saw the teaser for this. This is interesting. Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, Woman of the Hour. There's a teaser trailer out, and it's a thriller set in the 1970s and actually stars Anna Kendrick as well. She plays an aspiring actress who gets mixed up with a serial killer after they were both cast on an episode of The Dating Game, and it is based on the true story in 1978 of serial killer Rodney Alcala as he appeared on The Dating Show in the midst of his killing spree. And there's classic footage of him on there.
Have you guys ever seen it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a serial killer sitting on The Dating Game set, participating in the game.
And he won it.
Yeah.
He goes on the date. The teaser trailer is short, but has people saying that it gives him the chills in the comments on YouTube.
Wow.
Woman of the Hour debuts on Netflix October 18th. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to see that.
All right. Do we have clips today?
Yeah. Did I not? I mean,
Are they mystery clips?
mystery clips.
Hang on. Maybe you sent them over. No, I have no clips.
But they're here.
There's
All
nothing
right.
on here.
Mystery clips. We'll play the clip. If you know who it is, raise your hand, and we'll get to guess. Here we go.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was like, I'm a little afraid that is not honoring his memory by doing this, like I'm like betraying him in some way. And she said, you are nuts. She goes, he would have loved this. And he would have. He loved reality TV. He was a dive in with both feet to anything you do. I think he's up there going, look, that's my wife down there. She's doing this.
Somebody on Dancing with the Stars, maybe.
I'm
I don't
lost.
know. All right, Marissa, who is it?
All right, that is Joan Vassis, who makes her debut tonight as the Golden Bachelorette.
Oh,
She's the 61-year-old widow who talks about what her late husband would think about being on the show.
okay.
She looks pretty damn good.
She looks really good.
She looks really good.
All right, next mystery clip. Let's see if we know.
Roz is running. In a human context, you would be out of breath, but Roz doesn't have that. So it was kind of like an intellectual exercise of like, okay, how would a robot sound if she was running? And then how do I manipulate my body to ensure that? So I remember that being a challenge, to create that sort of like urgency that comes out in your voice when you're running without having that breathlessness.
No idea.
No clue.
Marissa.
All right, that's Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh.
She is in The Wild Robot, which is about a robot who is stranded on an island and bonds with the animals, especially a little goose.
Interesting. All right, well, we failed.
She's
on,
good. I like her.
on the mystery
Oh,
clip.
she's good.
Yeah, I like her. She's the thing.
Did you see the most recent Quiet Place?
I watched. I started it, and it did not get me. And I kind of bailed on it.
I liked it a lot.
bailed on it. Yeah,
No,
you liked it a lot?
I did like it. Listen, it's
All
not
right.
as good as the other two. However, her in particular, she's the star, right? Yeah. Isn't that her?
I believe so, yeah.
So she's terrific, and there's actually, for all you animal lovers, the cat lives.
Oh, good. All right, good.
All right, good to know.
Where can I find that? Do I have to purchase
Yeah,
it or
Netflix,
rent it?
I
Or-
think, isn't it?
I think Netflix might have it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So anyhow, that is our entertainment report this morning. We have a lot going on today. We have Good Money It coming up. First shot of winning $1,000 at 8 o'clock. Before that, we'll check in with Fox Good Day, Mike and Karen. We'll see what's going on with them. M. Night Shyamalan and his composer. Most of his films are done by the composer James Newton Howard. They're going to be joining us this morning. They have an event coming up on Friday at Marian Anderson Hall. So excited to talk to those guys. And also Yeardly Smith. Of course, Lisa Simpson. She'll be joining us. And she has a true crime podcast that she's going.
Which is a huge hit. It's been around for years. But the funny thing about her, what I love, is she doesn't really have to do a character voice.
No.
That's the way she sounds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, and we also have a secret text word, chance to win tickets to see Dream Theater, the 40th anniversary tour, which is Friday, February 7th. Tickets are on sale now. But text the word secret to 39333. You will be in the running for it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in just a moment, so hang for a bit, please. Her age, she was 28 years old.
That is an exceptionally old dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a cat that lived to 22, and that seemed like an eternity for a pet lifespan.
Yes.
But listen, I know that some birds, like African greys and so on, can live for like 80 years.
Absolutely.
But I
They
didn't think
usually
it-
outlive their owners.
But I didn't think a dove had that kind of a shelf life, for lack of a better
I bathed
term.
in the purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka. And
That must have been
what
what
I
did it.
attribute my longevity to.
Well, longevity for divinity.
Following Prince's death in 2016, Divinity remained at his Paisley Park and could be seen during the tours of his former estate.
Divinity conducted the tours.
According to the executive director of the Paisley Park tours, said Divinity's beautiful coo has welcomed visitors since Paisley Park first opened its gates to the public in October 2016. She was one of the enduring links to Prince for thousands of fans. She will be missed.
I would love to go to Paisley Park.
Me too.
I read there was a really fascinating article. Prince started writing an autobiography, and he hired a writer to help him write it. And so a year or so before he died, the writing process began, and the writer spent a lot of time in Paisley Park. And I've gained so much more of an appreciation for Prince after his death, which makes me feel guilty for some weird reason. But just everything that went into Paisley Park and his life is really amazing.
I was just watching a replay of yesterday of him at the Super Bowl when he did the halftime.
God.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and his version, along with Danny Harrison and Tom Petty of "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony years ago, is just unbelievably great.
The outside of Paisley Park looks like a
Looks like a school or a warehouse or
you would
something
not
like
you would
that.
have no idea.
What I haven't seen are pictures of the inside.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's like a modern Graceland. Like it's Prince through and through.
Our old boss has been to parties there, Jim McGuinn, because he's a program director in Minneapolis, and that's where it is.
That's cool.
So, yeah. I would love to
Elevator
go.
inside and all the whole deal.
So, in addition to Divinity, Prince also owned a dove named Majesty, which, according to reports, were quiet Both of them were quiet in the immediate days following his death, but they perked up after hearing his music.
I don't want to talk.
And a new generation of doves will continue to live on.
This is what it sounds like when doves cry. I'm gonna throw up.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds
when
like.
Doves cry.
Yeah, they were upset about Prince's death.
I swear to God, I'm gonna throw up.
Oh my God! Hey, are doves the same things as pigeons?
No.
No.
Not even
related.
close.
They are related.
Yeah, they're in the same bird family.
That's what I mean.
If you look at their license, there's a delineation.
Okay.
My dad and I used to go dove hunting regularly. We used to blast those things out of the sky.
Dude, I mean, come on.
We'd eat them.
I know, but still, it's like puppy hunting. You know? It's so nice and cute and peaceful.
They're different than the ones that you see. They're,
Okay.
Yeah,
they're gray
they
colored
kill
ones.
families.
Okay.
Yes.
They are all tatted up.
He was doing service to the families of Kentucky.
They are literally the symbol for peace, however.
Yes.
I was completely eaten by a dove today. Anyone kill them for us.
Son, we got work to do.
We beat it to death with an olive branch.
I have a hair change story that
That's a cool sound effect.
After splitting from her fiance, Dale Moss, Bachelorette alum Claire Crawley is ready for love and a new pink hairdo.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I saw it.
Yeah?
I've not seen it.
It's not over the top.
It's not crazy hot
It's
pink.
light. She says she wanted to show that she could do something crazy.
Okay.
As we observed, everything she's done shows she can do something crazy.
Oh, you're right. It's a nice pink. It's like an ombre.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. She didn't go. I was thinking like shocking. Like Katy Perry when she had super pink hair. Anyway.
Getting the tattoo of Florida on her forehead.
Did you see that guy?
I did.
Yes. He's got a tattoo of the state right on his forehead.
Ridiculous.
All righty, buddy. Source tells us she sees her time spent with Dale as something of her past and is ready to move forward.
It helped me to learn about myself.
So she has pink hair now.
Okay, the ombre's good. I kind of prefer the Ganon, bro.
What's the Ganon?
Come on,
bro.
Keep going. Do it. Finish it.
I'm not finishing
Come on.
It's Ganon, bro. I like the up dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Here's the tattoo of the Florida, by the way.
That looks good.
Oh, man, what is going on?
I know. We have a monitor that's normally in front of us. It doesn't work, and I can't see the photos when they come up. But yes, that's just brilliant. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture drama went to Andra Day for The United States versus Billie Holiday. And overall best motion picture drama went to Nomadland. So there you go. That's our first foray into a very strange awards year.
It was. You know what was one of the weirder things, Preston? At certain points when they were going into a commercial and they had the nominees, they'd put the nominees up and they'd bring up their microphones so that they could sort of like talk and like. And there was, did you see Case? I don't know, because there was a point where Pacino was up for something and they were all, hi, Mr. Pacino, I'm a big fan of yours. And there's this cross talk that's not, no one was overseeing it. It was just like you were listening in on a Zoom call.
Wait, so the crosstalk was between the fellow nominees?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So they did that a couple times. If they ever do this again, they should not do that again.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, right?
It's very weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is something supposed to be happening?
What was great though is when Soul won for best, I think it was best animated. Who do you call it? Tracy Morgan pronounced it as Saul, right? He goes, and the winner is, and he goes Saul. And then there was no reaction because there was no movie called Saw.
Right.
And then he realized that he had made the mistake. And then they had cut to the it was for best original song. But either way, the actors, it was Sudeikis, it was the people that were up for the next award.
Right.
They were having a ball with it. They were cracking up. Don Cheadle was making fun of them, and it was really.
I think Pacino didn't realize that he was still on the Zoom call because he was standing in the doorway pleasuring himself.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh no, you
How
don't do
awkward
that.
is that?
Feels so good.
Right.
Well, I didn't see that clip. But I did see.
I
I saw a clip.
I'm gonna shout.
Oh my God!
Splat.
All over my walls and when my children play with their toys. You were expecting something like that. There were a few people who clearly were not quite up to speed on the tech.
I'm gonna shoot over here.
That was good.
Oh man!
Right after that.
Yes. Sorry, Nick.
No. This is also comedic. He fell asleep.
What?
Did he?
Yeah.
Was he asleep on camera, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, don't you usually fall asleep right afterwards?
Everybody's sleepy, you know, and you've expanded yourself. So the camera pans across his screen, and listen, his eyes are closed, and he looks like he might have not actually have been asleep, but he looked like he was sleepy.
There was so much fun pleasuring myself.
Oh no, the poor guy. Getting old.
I don't feel so good.
That's hilarious.
I'm up on out.
So, according to a new survey presented by the Water Quality and Health Council, 51% of Americans reported using a swimming pool as a communal bathtub, using the pool as an alternative to showering or rinsing off after engaging in exercise, or yard work, or whatever it may be. Even though 64% of Americans know that pool chemicals don't eliminate the need to shower, people continue to do it anyway. By the way, the survey comes as experts from the council, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and, which I didn't know existed, the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance.
Oh, that's great. That's what Darth Vader faces off in the second movie.
Work to educate the public on healthy and safe swimming.
We shall crush the Pool Alliance.
Yes, my name is Mortimer Sanchez, and I'm with the Pool Alliance. And we think you're a bad leader.
The survey also revealed.
I don't care.
The survey also revealed that 24% of Americans would go into a pool within 1 hour of having diarrhea.
See, that's now listen. That's why public pools are just not my thing.
Spend all
However,
day on the toilet. You know what I need to do? I need to take a swim.
get some of that residual out.
To check the chlorine and pH levels for a personal public pool, the council is offering free pool test kits through its 15th annual Healthy Pools campaign on its website.
This is the Alliance.
This is the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance.
Did you mention in this story, Preston, particular sunblocks affecting?
I didn't mention
You
this.
may go into the pool now.
Peter Cushing.
Moff Tarkin.
This is the finest pool you'll ever swim in.
What were you saying, Nick? Sunscreens?
Yeah, the reason that I bring it up is that I went on a snorkel, not a scuba,
Snookles
or a snorkel, but a snorkel.
It's the latest craze that's sweeping the beaches of America. Snookling.
Get some Beach Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
Good
great.
outside, hanging tan, snookling all day long.
Surfing USA, please.
Oh, sorry.
I know what the snookle is, if I may suggest.
At the snookle.
Oh my God. Ladies
Across
and
the
gentlemen.
USA. Snookle USA.
Like California.
I'm such an idiot.
All right, anyhow.
Snorkeling.
Oh, yeah.
I went snorkeling, and you weren't allowed to wear.
Feel of a snookle at dawn.
You weren't allowed to wear the sunblock that you brought. You had to use the sunblock that they provided for you, and it's because the sunblock that most people wear is pretty damaging to the reef. And I was wondering if it would be damaging at all to like a pool filter or to the saltwater.
These are all good
treatment or
questions.
whatever,
Yeah, because some of the chemicals are pretty arch and can have that effect.
Yeah, and I've been snorkeling many times in my life, but this is the first time ever on a snorkel trip where I had to do this, and you weren't allowed to wear what you had, what you brought.
They provided.
They
this
provided it
Do you
for you,
remember
yeah.
what it was? What type it was?
I don't. It was like an industrial vat of
It was
the
called
stuff.
Reef Killer.
Yeah.
Reef Killer sunblock. A snorkel, by the way, as you're snorkeling, has a second tube that goes up back onto the beach so that someone could load M&Ms into them so that you can eat.
You're hungry.
So that's what a snorkel
Right, a
is?
snorkel is a second food tube.
Okay.
So that you can swim longer.
Everybody wins.
That's great.
They do have snuba.
Snooba
is legit.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Snooba.
Apparently
Yeah.
Snookle is legit as well.
Are you
Is
kidding
it?
me?
No, I'm serious.
If you can swim, you can snorkel. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Snorkel offers shallow dives.
Approximately 10 to 40 feet without cumbersome tanks and no diving certification necessary. That looks like Snooba.
It does.
So what
A hose,
what
right?
they do is, well, yeah, they have a floating tank that stays above the water, and you basically take the regulator down, and it's a long tube, a long hose that you can breathe in. We're getting ready to get recertified or to go into a refresher course for scuba to get set for our vacation. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'll ask about Snookle.
Yeah.
Zombie raccoons. That's my thing.
Yes.
That clumsily walk on two legs and show their teeth are staggering around suburban Chicago, and authorities are warning locals to hide their pets. A spike in raccoons testing positive for distemper in Riverside, Illinois, is to blame for the bizarre sightings of contaminated animals that the disease causes to appear zombie-like. While zombie raccoons don't eat brains, distemper is highly contagious. If you're feeding wildlife and that raccoon ate out of your bowl, or cat food for your stray cats, and your puppy goes over, the saliva can be contagious.
They sent in a Negan raccoon to take care of everything.
Well, oh, well, oh, well. Looks like we got ourselves a problem in Chi-Town. Leaning back high. Looks like we got some trouble. Some trouble in Chi-Town. Going deep dish on this bitch.
It's got a little leather jacket he wears. Yeah.
Lean back, wait for. Hey! In the home of Oprah.
All right, thanks, Kath. There was an article that came out. Kathy sent it to me this morning, and she says, you want to hear people get fired up? Mention this. So, and this is just an example, I assume, and there are many others that are out there, but apparently Mast Community Charter School in the Somerton section of Philadelphia, they're calling it a traffic nightmare outside of the school. And this is all with drop-off and pickup.
Oh, that thing.
What they refer to as car line.
Car line?
Yeah.
Okay.
At any school is just people complain and there's just mass confusion.
So school buses, SEPTA buses, shuttle buses, parents, they all add to the congestion of the issues that they're having. We didn't.
Did your kids take the bus?
For a little while, and then we started doing drop off and pick up in high school, and that was always a pain in the ass. But where we are, I think is not that difficult. They have a pretty good system at Souderton, so we were able to. Now, what I always hated was the whole let's all work together in getting out of here.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm a loose cannon.
Trading, you know. One drink, one water. One drink, one water. You know, no, the following things like the zipper method or letting somebody out and so on.
It's never the every man for himself method.
No,
there is, and they do have like
I would
our
like that.
schools. You know, they have the system down and it works, but there's just someone that's going to screw it up. Like, so with ours, you can't make a left-hand turn into the parking lot, right? So where I come from, when I come from my home, I have to wrap around. So it takes me a little bit longer. If I were to normally go to the school, I'd just pull up and I'd make a left. Well, now I can't.
You can't do it.
I've got to go around and I have to get in line, which I do. But there are people that come and when the crossing guard's not looking, they make that left and they whip right into car line, and like it infuriates people. People are so angry about it. And I see it happen every once in a while. And actually, somebody that I know, a friend of mine, is one of the dads that does it. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna somebody's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, well, listen, everybody else is following the rules.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not Sorry. You're not special.
Dropped an F-bomb.
You're not special. Like, I'm sorry, but everybody else is doing this. And what pisses me off is when it affects me as just a regular civilian who has nothing to do with the school.
Right.
And this happened to me last week where I literally almost called the Haverford school to say, get your crap together, because I just sat out in front of your stupid school for 10 minutes waiting for you guys to figure everything out, backing up traffic on College Avenue, and then it backed up onto Lancaster Avenue. I'm like, guys, this isn't a brand new school. You figure it out, because there are other people here who need to get on with their lives.
Yeah, so you're sorry, as I say, you're like, you're just stuck in it. You're not even having to deal with it.
I'm just trying to get home.
But
Kathy, what does that guy say when you say why? Does he explain why he does it?
Yeah, he explains he makes.
I'm in a hurry.
No, he makes the left-hand turn and he doesn't actually get into the car line. He then parks in the parking lot, which the kids are not allowed to, because then they have to cross in front of the cars to get to the parking lot. So the kids actually have to stay on the sidewalk. And just yesterday, I saw a kid cross over, and the teacher out there was like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. Like, please don't do that tomorrow," because there's a lot of action. They don't want people to get hurt.
Yeah.
But so you're actually not allowed to park in the parking lot to pick up your kid. You have to wait in this line. So he's going to the parking lot.
Here's some text coming in. This says, currently sitting in the line of cars to get my kids to Mast. That's a school in the article. It is insane. Another one says, I just dropped my kid off there. And people are just concurring with it's a nightmare in that. Somebody says, I'm just about to hit that traffic. Another one says you should see drop off and pick up at Yale School, Philadelphia, and Manayunk, St. John the Baptist Church.
I know this. I have been caught in these the residual effect, just as you were, Casey, with these car lines. And there's a couple of them in particular that come to mind. But you know how volatile this is because it ends up now being kind of a normal go-to in a lot of sitcoms about dropping kids off at school. In fact, it was Kate Flannery played one of the
really?
the guides. What do they call them that run car line?
Guards.
The crossing guards.
Yeah,
like this militant crossing guard.
Yeah, well, and the lady at our school, she's very nice, but she will, like, if she catches you making that left-hand turn or trying to get in car line and you didn't wait, like, she'll walk right over to your window and knock on your window. Like, she's pretty bold.
Here's somebody says, I'm a truck driver. I'd rather spend an hour in New York City traffic than spend 15 minutes in traffic near the intersection where Kathy is talking about.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there's just, dude, our text messages are going crazy with people and our phone lines as well. So let's take some calls.
Real quick, I have a friend that goes to car line at the end of the day to pick up her kid. She gets in line at the school an hour and a half before school lets out. Now she claims that she's sitting there and she owns her own business, so she's doing work. She's doing emails
I get that.
while she's sitting. She goes, but I take that time so that I'm there, I'm up front, the kids get in the car, and we leave when school's over.
Bail. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go to Jason. He's sitting in that traffic right now. Hi, Jason. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Gadzooks, guys.
Gadzooks, buddy. What's up?
Yeah, so this is the Somerton area. This is a daily occurrence, and we kind of get hit twice, and we're in Casey's boat here where we don't go to the school. We're not dealing with the school. We're just trying to get to work.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, get our work trucks back to our company. We are basically kind of across the street from where the charter school is. And I've been sitting dead stop for about 10 minutes right now, just waiting to get about a quarter mile up so I can pull into my parking lot.
Jason, I'd go out of my friggin' mind. So there was a school that I would encounter when we would take our dog, our other dog, Chelsea, for physical therapy. You would, the same thing. This thoroughfare would lock up. And they said, "What?" And I'd beg to get appointments in and out of the school range,
right?
And it just ended up being the same time. But I was like, "Why isn't this being managed better?"
We have Lou, who is a school principal, who wants to check in with us. Hi, Lou. Good morning.
Hey, am I on the air?
Yes.
Yeah. Sweet.
What's up, Lou?
Hey, I think it was Casey that said just everybody work together. It really is. It could be so hectic, and I'm very fortunate in that my students and parents are unbelievable and really do work together. So we have a pretty seamless process in the morning and the afternoon. It does take a lot of work behind the scenes, and when people adhere to everything, number one, the kids and staff are safe. That's ultimately a priority. And number two, it goes quick and smooth. So thank you for giving that shout out just for everybody to just to be patient, follow the rules. We just want to get the kids and staff in safely. That's all. That's the end game for all.
Lou, can you mention what school you're a principal of, or would you rather not?
Absolutely. Parkway Elementary School in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Big shout out to the staff and parents and guardians there who really do. They make my job going to work every day. I love it, and we have a smooth process because of them, because of their cooperation and flexibility, and I truly appreciate it.
Would you say it's a pleasure to drive around your school anytime, day or night?
It would be. It gets a little backed up.
All right. Okay. All right. To the civilian. I gotcha.
Excellent.
As best as can be expected, and people really they see that you're working, they see that we're in it to make sure everybody's safe, and they do appreciate it, and it really goes smoothly because everybody, like you said, Case, just works together. So thank you.
All right, cool. Thanks, Lou. Appreciate it, man.
Preston, it's funny you mentioned that. Well, Kathy, you mentioned the woman doing her work in the, and someone sent me a link to a woman who became a hit on social media because she's doing like suggestive stuff. It's Tree Maria, I think Tree Maria. In Carline, she started doing like sexy videos, posting on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, and so she's like one of these people that gets there early and turned it into where she would do her social media posts.
You know what I've thought about? If you could park in Carline, just get out, you stand next to your car, and there's a fitness instructor there and does like a quick 30-minute, 40-minute class. You could get your workout in while you're waiting in Carline.
That's a good idea.
So when I go and I'll pick up kids, it always
Steve, again,
and
no.
I don't get it. Police pursuits. Suddenly, it's like I'm just trying to follow the rules.
I'm going to go to Heather next. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning, Ed.
Good morning to see you, Heather. What's up?
So my niece and nephew go to school there, and my sister-in-law wound up getting a job there. And I think half the reason was because of the traffic.
So how did this happen? What happened?
So her children go to school there, but the traffic is so horrible. Yep. She wound up getting like a part-time job there because it helps get the kids to school.
She got a job there so she could get priority in Carline. I thought it was a case like she was just sitting there. She goes, I might as well go in and apply for a job.
Yeah, that's pretty
No,
smart.
because then they do like after-school activities, so they avoid the line later.
Yeah.
She has it figured out.
No, that's smart. I got it. So you're saying the way to beat Carline is to be hired as a teacher.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's really funny.
That's all you have to do.
I love it.
Preston is really notorious, even before the school was there, for really bad traffic.
Really?
Because it's one of the main ways for the Northeast to get to 95. It's how you get on Woodhaven.
Okay. All right. That's all.
It was already a bad traffic area, and then they put the school there, and it just blew it up.
Preston, do you remember as a kid? I don't ever remember car lines or.
I do at high school.
Do you?
That was us, the students trying to get out, and the parking lot was packed.
But I never remember, like, just super long lines of parents dropping kids off at any school I went to.
No, and listen, they're doing it like the principal said. They're doing it to keep everybody safe. No, Steve, I remember leaving elementary school because I would have to walk across the field to get to my mom, who would park outside of school after she got off her shift, because my mom worked overnights.
Right.
Because she would fall asleep at home and forget to come and pick us up. So she would come to the school after her shift and sleep in her car outside of the school, so I could just come over, knock on the window, and wake her up. So there was no car line. I walked out and walked across the field.
Well, it does go back. Do you remember the movie Mr. Mom? Like his first day, he takes the kids to school and he pulls in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then 3 months later, he's the guy that's going, hey, south to pick up, north to drop off. Let's get it right next time, please. Come on.
Well, you're right, because most of the traffic when I was going to school were of the horse-drawn variety.
Yeah. Here's a text says, this is from Chris the Flagger, by
Chris
the
the
way.
Flagger.
He's called us before. He said, you parents are effing it up for all of us by being impatient dickheads. The traffic laws don't change because you're kid. I've had crossing guards try to co-opt my work zones to get me and my partner to stop cars and trucks to get the parents in and out. I'm not sure exactly what all that means.
It sounds like a mess, whatever it is.
Yeah, it sounds like he's working on the streets.
Yeah, let me go to, I have Joe has an interesting maneuver he does here. Hey, Joe, good morning.
Do you guys know where I can find baby oil?
At Diddy's.
1,000 gallons of it.
Well, what's up, Joe?
I think I kind of contribute to the problem because I purposely go through that area so I can get overtime for work.
Oh, my God.
You go through that area to add to the traffic so you can get overtime. That's a good way to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know if I'm going that way, if I'm driving to work, I was like, you know what? It's about that time. I can go get some overtime today. And it usually works. So I'm sorry for the people that I make late, but I like the extra money. So.
That's game in the system, man. All right, thanks, Joe.
When I'm heading home, if I get on Allen's Lane, there is a school that is letting out in the car lines start. And if I forget it and I have not looked at the time, just to go get my little Wawa coffee or whatever on the way home, I am in a world of hurt.
So Mindy goes to this area. Hi, Mindy, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Mindy. What's going on?
Hey, I agree with Heather 100%. This road has always been this way since the school was open. I don't know why they don't do anything about it. It's Byberry Road, which takes you to Woodhaven to 95. I actually have to leave 45 minutes earlier than I need to be in work just to avoid the traffic. And it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, that whole anytime I don't get to the Northeast that often, but anytime that I have to get off at Woodhaven Road, I'm like, here we go.
Here we go. We'll just sit for a little bit.
And it's complex. There's a lot going on, and you add a school and people picking up and dropping off.
And
it's going to make it worse.
Mindy, this is the same situation. You don't even have a kid that goes to the school, but it affects your life on a daily.
Exactly. And I've been working at my job for 30 years. And this is every day, and every day coming home, I never leave early, but when I do, I avoid it. And what you get people doing, though, is when the 15 mile an hour light is on, they get so frustrated that they tailgate you if you actually follow the 15 mile an hour.
Yeah, I don't dig that.
I hate that, too.
Yeah, you can't screw around with that, and the police are going to be all over you in that area. Mindy, has all this made you consider perhaps adopting a kid and just participating anyway? Enrolling the kid?
You know, it makes me understand road rage a lot.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
You go the other way.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that is. I can't stand that when you go through a school zone. It's flashing. It's active. 15 miles an hour. It feels like you could walk faster, but you have to do it. And then somebody will get right up on your ass. I'm like, dude, where you going to go? Come on.
I've seen, I've seen especially in their areas. I forget what school I'm passing when I'm on Lancaster, but the police are right there.
Yeah,
they're ready to go, man. The second you go, I've seen them nail people right and left.
One of our schools is next door to the police station.
Oh, my God.
All the time. Every day.
Yeah.
People are pulled over.
I mean, I honestly, and sometimes I'll see like Marple police kind of hanging in the parking lot at the end of the school zone. And I'm like, I wish you were there all the time because, people just don't. And I can't. When I was driving past St. Dot's one time, it was the school zone flashing. This woman rode my ass, and then went around me and flipped me off as I was following the rules of the road.
No cops, no nothing?
No cops, no
Citizens
nothing.
arrest, did that come across your mind?
Well, you know what's funny is she and I, because she was in such a hurry to get to the next traffic light, we ended up at the next red light together, and I'm yelling out at her.
Was this around Christmas time?
No, that was a different one. And that wasn't a school zone. That was a woman who ran me off the road.
You put the C back in Christmas.
He did.
No. And listen, I made a mistake on the road that day, and I effed up. But then this woman literally tried to run me off the road. I was like, oh, my God, Merry Christmas. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, but this one, we ended up at the traffic light together, and I'm yelling to her, not at her.
Right.
I just want her to know. I was in a school zone.
I love you.
I was in, but it made me so mad that she flipped me off, thinking that I was in the wrong somehow.
No, you're not. Listen,
do you know what I mean?
That pisses me off like nobody's business. When those lights are flashing, just slow down because trust me, they're looking at you. If any cop in the area, you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
They don't F around with that stuff.
Yeah. Let me go to. Hang on, we have Jim, who's a SEPTA driver. He's been on for a while. Hi, Jim. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, sorry to bother you at work.
Nah, we'll let it slide. What's up, man?
Yeah, I drove a SEPTA bus in there many times, and that road is horrible. But also, it's the people that drive on that road because everyone wants to get wherever they're going quicker.
Yep.
So there's no patience. So there's a light right there where you make the left into the school parking lot. People will sit in that intersection. So that means people turning into the school have to wait for the intersection to clear, which and makes everything else back up. And there's another public school right up the road, which has drop-off too, and there's a bridge there that only small trucks can go over. So it's very congested there, but people wanting, not thinking about anybody else, that's what makes it difficult. Like I've been driving a bus before, and people have flown around my bus just to get 5 feet in front of me.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
No, you're right. Yep, it's a pain in the ass. All right, thanks, Jim.
By the way, would a homeschooling stop a lot of this?
Yes, it probably would it not? But apparently they're having some real problems, and the parents are fed up. I don't know if they're going to. Can they do anything?
I don't
I'm
think
not
they
familiar with
can.
the area.
I mean, it's school. The kids got to get there, and not everybody takes the bus.
So I guess the notion of carpooling. We used to carpool years ago.
Yeah.
I mean I did
that as a kid.
Yeah, there was in the neighborhood really when in elementary school for a little bit. And early junior high, there was a cluster of parents that would 4 or 5 kids in a vehicle and go.
From the neighborhood. Yeah,
I need to see what the school parking lot situation looks like.
You're gonna redo it for them?
I'm going to redo it. I'm a civil engineer. I can figure this all out. But I really do. I need to see what it looks like because, I'm sure they've had, I'm sure they've done their studies and they have it all figured out. And it's probably
maybe
the best
they
thing
need
can
they
do.
need an outsider, someone who thinks outside the box,
right,
to revolutionize the system.
But there's also got to be plenty of other places that are having similar issues like this, where it's just like you dread driving by the school. Strip clubs, in and out. It's a nightmare, man.
It's a horrible thing.
All right, well, thank you for your calls, and sorry for your inconvenience, gang. We do appreciate your participation. A couple things to remind you of. We have a secret text word today. We're giving away tickets to see Dream Theater, their 40th anniversary tour. Friday, February 7th at the Met in Philadelphia. Text word secret to 39333. We have a host of things we're going to tackle today. Yeardly Smith, the voice of Lisa Simpson, will be joining us. We have M. Night Shyamalan on a program, and his main composer, James Newton Howard, who has also composed films like Pretty Woman and
The Fugitive.
Loads of stuff.
Major League.
Yeah, and he also has ties to
Collateral.
the world of classic rock music and stuff like that. So it should be a pretty cool conversation. We'll talk to him a little bit later on, but very important, we have your first chance at winning $1,000 in less than 20 minutes.
Yes.
So I want to take a break now so we can come back. We can do Fox Good Day, the Bizzare File, all that stuff, and get you set to win some money while you're having a nightmare of a drive sitting out in front of that school. We'll be back in a second. Stay with us. There was an email that was sent out that we were going to have our studios checked because there may have been bed bugs brought into the area. And we've had everything checked out. They actually just brought a dog in to sniff. Yeah, I think it was Jack Russell is what it looked like.
Josie was her name.
Josie is the dog. And there's no bed bugs.
Well, no, that's not true. There were on a chair.
Oh, was there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Or it was sort of like a warm zone or something.
A warm
like that
zone.
They call those.
That's
So
what I call my chairs at home. Yeah, my warm zone.
I think what everybody was worried about was an infestation, which I guess is not the case if it was just on the chair. I don't know.
Just on the chair. The rest of the place is apparently clean. Josie scoured our studio and nothing.
And I'm never coming back again.
You would have thought there was a radiation leak here.
Yeah. So I never told my wife that there was a bed bug.
She wouldn't have let you go to work.
No.
That was the first thing I told my wife, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
Because, listen, I'm surprised that's all we have. They're ripping the entire building apart, walls that haven't been opened up in years.
Yeah.
I imagine at night there must be a big vermin hoedown when we leave. Because you walk around, there's these cavernous, like a wall will disappear.
Yeah.
There's a big opening now.
Yeah.
You walk down one hall, it's 11 degrees, and then the next hall, it's 1,400 degrees. It's a whole new environment. It's like you're on some spaceship that's just, morphing all the time, and that's what this is here.
Well, I'm just glad that they alerted us to it.
Yeah.
Because during some of the construction, apparently they were removing asbestos, and nobody ever told us.
Well, that's when that wall went up down at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
Because, and I almost walked into that wall. That's how quickly it went up. I started to turn down to go down to what I thought was Chuck's office down the hall that used to exist.
Like Looney Tunes.
And there was a wall.
So my wife will, when we go check into a hotel, it's always the same situation. We open the door, we shut the door, we leave our bags right at the door while she goes and strips all the beds and looks through all the furniture for bed bugs. She's like definitely
She's fanatical.
So before you guys even enter the room,
we have to leave our bags at the door. There's an inspection.
I really wanted to come in a hazmat suit or some sort of bubble, but I couldn't find anything.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going through our text chain, and I'm like, hey, by the way, this is going on. I'm not going to tell my wife. And then Kathy immediately goes from 0 to freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
Get the F out of here. I'm not coming into work tomorrow. Who the F has bed bugs? Holy F, no, like 1,000 exclamation points. And then she says, do you know how hard it is to get rid of bed bugs? What's the company going to do about it? And when? And then Preston sends a gift a GIF, I'm sorry, of like a bedbug jug band.
Yeah, playing music. And then Kathy fires back, that's not funny.
It's not funny.
I think I said F you to anybody who's not taking this seriously.
And then I think Nick said, read Joe's email. And then Kathy says, F the email, F the bedbugs, and F whoever doesn't think this is a big deal. Where are we going to do our show tomorrow? Clearly, we can't go to the station, and we need an on-site location.
My house is
She was
clean.
ready.
My house is clean.
Yeah. You're ready to set up shop somewhere else. to do a live
100%.
broadcast.
If you guys would have said, yeah, we have to do the show somewhere else, I would offer it up my house.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
So it was one bug down the hall, right?
Yes!
Okay, I'm just asking.
Could you see Casey coming home? Diane wants to check him, so she takes out the blue light. Doesn't find any bed bugs, just semen
Bathed in
stains.
semen, yeah.
All over my face.
We're good. The woman was saying that they have dogs that can do all sorts of that check for bugs that actually will.
Wait a minute. I thought you meant that bed bugs use dogs to travel
Well,
around.
yeah, take
Mush!
for a ride.
I thought you meant as piggybacking.
You've never seen the bed bug Iditarod?
No.
It's good. Yeah.
It must be majestic.
It's compelling.
Yeah, good dog, good dog. It's good dog. I love being out here in the open range. Yeah!
Let's see here. As Godzilla versus Kong, starring Millie Bobby Brown, performed much better than expected given the circumstances of COVID and so on, and the original movie King of the Monsters' lackluster box office performance. A threequel is expected with Adam Wingard set to direct again.
So he just directed the most recent one.
I believe so, yeah.
Right.
So according to the Hollywood Reporter, the concept being floated is Son of Kong. Godzilla vs. Kong has crossed $400 million globally and is the top-grossing Hollywood-produced movie since the pandemic hit.
They're going to have to correct something now in both these, Son of Kong and Son of Godzilla. You gotta have a female Godzilla. Something. Who's he banging?
Yeah.
Where does this? Not unless they're asexual. They reproduce that way. I mean, there's only
It's Son of Kong.
Right, but there's also Son of Godzilla.
Oh, is there Son of Godzilla?
Yes, I'm sure that's in the works as well.
So maybe he could reproduce asexually. I don't know. We don't know much about Godzilla. He's kind of a mystery, but definitely not Kong.
Well, Godzilla
Definitely
could.
not.
No, he's more. He's a simian.
He's a mammal.
Why do we assume that Kong is a man? Wouldn't
We
see
know it. He's all man.
Well, I don't know.
Wouldn't he be Queen Kong?
Yeah, he'd be Queen Kong.
Okay, fair point. But I didn't see any low-hanging fruit, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, they left that out. In fact, can you on apes, or do they? I've never.
Is there junk external?
That's a good question.
Apparently, it's pretty small. I remember. We talked one point about animal genitalia.
Yeah, but even on Kong, it would be big enough.
You're
right.
But
it'd be the size of
proportionally
a VW, you know.
Yeah,
It'd be the size of me.
Be as tall as Steve.
I want to see King Dong. I want to see it.
There actually was a movie called King Dong.
Of course, there was.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a rom-com. Like he's romancing this lady, and that's about how they have the baby together.
Oh, the next Kong
the
movie?
next one, yeah.
4 weddings and a King Kong.
That could be. It could be something like that. We'll have to see. An inspiring story.
Giant ape walked into her life.
All right. So anyhow, we will see if that comes to pass or not. But
how big his junk is, and whether there's a Mrs. Kong.
Son of Kong. We'll have to see.
What a goddamn day today. Sit down. I'll make you some dinner. I'm fighting these things that are apparently prehistoric, and yet I've never seen them, and I'm on an island. You'd think I would want to cross. I don't even know why they evolved that way. They're like snake things with. Give me a beer.
Yeah, think about it tomorrow. Just,
you want to do a little grab ass?
Yeah. Khloe Kardashian.
Let's take this upstairs.
Kong! What are you doing?
Just a little finger stuff.
Oh my God.
There's no little finger stuff in here.
Oh, it's bigger than my penis.
No, it's perfect.
A lot of gorillas are like that.
It's okay, baby. It happens. No, not to me. It's those dumb lizard things that I met today.
You can't stop thinking about it.
I'm just distracted.
Forget about the lizard things. Come upstairs.
Let's have some oysters.
Okay. Should I move on to Khloe Kardashian now? Okay, thank you.
Same size.
I have the floor now.
Maybe that. There you go. King Kong marries Khloe Kardashian.
Today, it was, I guess, 25 years ago today or recently within the last week or so?
I think it's today. It's a magical day, or at least a magical time. You can sort of feel it in the air.
Yeah, you even look outside.
Yeah.
The trees are swaying, I think, in honor of the fact that it is the 25th anniversary of the movie Twister.
Yeah. A legendary film.
Oh, my God.
Legendary, horrible film.
I remember looking forward to going and see. I took my mom. She was visiting in town, and I took her to go see the movie. And the big hook were the effects.
That's it.
At the time, the effects were kind of groundbreaking. The CGI depicting these tornadoes.
And they were amazing for the time. They did a great job.
Yeah. It was such a stupid movie.
The whole concept.
It was just piss poor.
Yeah. The rival storm chasers.
Yeah.
There's the corporate storm chasers and the more grassroots in it for the love of the storm. The whole background story on Linda Hunt's character, Helen Hunt's Joe Harding.
Not Linda.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
Yeah. So the Helen Hunt's story about her dad being sucked away in a twister while they were in the storm cellar, and she's always had this love-hate relationship with the storms. But it's horrible. But again, at that time, the effects-wise, you'd never seen anything like that.
No, effects-wise. So here's my vivid memory of this movie. Because if it was 25 years ago today, I was just getting done my junior year of college. I was a lifeguard, and I was at my boss, the guy who owned the company. I was at his house getting all the supplies ready to clean out pools. We did apartment pools. And he talked like this, like his voice was like this, right? And so it's me and my little brother, and we're power washing all this stuff in his driveway. And he goes, I saw Twister last night, and those tornadoes were real. And he said that. Those tornadoes were real. He must have said that like a half a dozen times. My little brother, it was me and him, my younger brother, sorry. It was me and him. And so we will, even 25 years later, if the word tornado comes up in conversation, he and I will say, those tornadoes were real.
What was that guy's name?
I don't want to.
Rocks the warning. They're playing the MM Barbecue this Saturday. Yes. I've requested to interview them if we have the opportunity to do that, depending on how the day plays out, because I really dig that band. I've said that a bunch of times on the air. I've been doing a little bit of research. They were here in our studio a while back. Pow, the drummer, that's her name, Paulina, but she goes by Pow.
Love it.
I found out recently she was Modern Drummer magazine recently awarded her Best Up and Coming Drummer, I believe.
Wow.
Drumeo recently awarded her like a fan favorite. She won an award there. And then I looked up the Mexicans. They're from Mexico. Mexican Forbes magazine named her as like one of the top 100 female Mexican citizens.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's great, man.
Like money-wise or?
No. Just
like up-and-comer type of like.
Yeah.
And who was her favorite drummer as a little girl?
Neil Peart. Thank you very much. Clearly, she and I were star-crossed. If I would have been younger,
yes.
Total crush on her. They're all three of them super talented.
If you had been Paco Elliott,
that would have been it.
Yeah.
But we will see them on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's take a look at traffic, see what's going on. Kathy, what do you have for us this morning?
We still have the Blue Road shut down northbound side. You're now stopped from Baltimore Pike to Villanova. So between Broomall and Villanova is where the closure is where that overturned dump truck is located. So northbound side still shut down. Southbound jams from the Mid-County tolls to the Schuylkill, and then from Media to Baltimore Pike. So normal delay on the southbound side. Schuylkill westbound jams from Passyunk to Girard, the Boulevard into Gladwin. Also at Montgomery, we had an earlier accident, but that's been cleared. Eastbound slows the Blue Road into Belmont, the Boulevard to University, 95 southbound. One straight line from Cotman into the Vine. The Vine westbound jams the length. Route 100 southbound in South Coventry, jam from Beeler Road to Route 23 on the New Jersey Turnpike. And southbound at Burlington Mount Holly, we've got construction in the left lane. Also southbound at 206, that overturned dump truck and gravel spill still blocking the right lane. 55 northbound, jams from 47 to 42. This traffic report brought to you by Polestar. Polestar Philadelphia is open in King of Prussia. They welcome you with competitive lease offers and available inventory that brings electric vehicle performance home. PolestarPhiladelphia.com. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thanks, Kath. We got roughly a minute before we go live on Fox Good Day, so we will take this time to remind you about MMR's big friggin' deal. You always need to check this out, WMMR.com/deals, because right now, Bates Motel, you can get 2 adult combo tickets for the price of 1.
The best.
That's huge. So 2 tickets, $52, and you're taken care of. And that's the combo deal as well. So get yourself set for Halloween thrills at Bates Motel, one of the most frightening haunted attractions in the country, by the way. You'll find it in Glen Mills. But they are while supplies last, so you want to get that as soon as possible before the whole thing is gone. So you can go to WMMR.com/deals. And usually it's 50% or better.
Yes. Great deals.
Those deals. So, all right, we have just a couple of seconds. We're going to hear some music swelling up. That means we're going live on Fox Good Day. And there it is. See what we're talking about today.
Hey, Preston and Steve, you're my first, my last, my everything. Barry White, yeah. Welcome.
Thank you,
So we're
sir.
talking about first loves.
Yeah.
Steve, give me the name of your first love.
First love, where I had a crush on, and then I fell in love with Debbie.
How old were you?
God, I was
Little Debbie.
I was 27. She was 8.
No,
we were about 10, 11 years old. Yeah. So I got. She was, and she was
Where
a
is she
neighbor.
today?
Had a crush. I don't know. I haven't seen her in decades. I assume that she's every bit as dilapidated as I am. So. Yeah.
Preston?
Oh, man, Mike, I crushed on girls so hard and still do my whole life. But I was...
You just did a few minutes ago.
I was talking about when I had a crush on just a second ago.
Who?
No,
Tell us who.
The first one was, well, I mean, there was a bunch of them. There was Maureen, there was Heather, there was Tammy was the first girl, okay, that I had a crush on.
You're a little Hugh Hefner.
And like, this is starting in like second grade. I mean, like, I would just get smitten. And throughout my years. And I
think that's normal.
The first girlfriend I had was Heather. The first girlfriend I ever told I loved her was Patty.
You know, you bring up a good point. Actually, the first crush that predated Debbie was I had a crush on a teacher.
Oh.
Yes, Mrs. Emilio.
Very common.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine was my 5th grade teacher, Ms. Mullen. And she used to, at lunch, she always wore short skirts. She would put her legs up with her high heels sticking out on the teacher's desk.
Would she be holding her ankles, Mike?
Wow. Yeah.
It wasn't like...
I was into ankles.
Like this?
And he never
Like that.
Oh, gosh.
It was a lot like that.
I think that's inappropriate, frankly.
Come on.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, she didn't have a
Scandal.
knee brace on, though. But, Kath, what about you?
How are you guys allowed to still come on the air with us? I don't know how this continues. The problem, Mike, is I went to school in the area. So if I named anybody, I don't want they're probably watching you guys right now. But yeah,
That's even more fun.
no, Karen, I'm not naming them.
Karen wants to throw some bombs
But I think
here.
I was probably like maybe like 7th, 8th grade. I feel like I was like a late bloomer to have a crush.
And who would you?
Can't remember the name. No, he's probably watching their show right now.
He's
I'm
probably
not
in the
naming
studio
him.
right now. He's probably Casey.
He works there.
Oh, I just thought of another crush.
Well, let me drop some of my names. I
Okay.
remember from
Lay it on.
preschool with Scott Persing, and then I loved a kid named Chris Chiappa who grew up to become an artist. That was for like all of early elementary school.
Chris Chiappa.
And then my first person I ever went out with, and we held hands, and I think we went to the movie, was Dave Colleran. And I
Do
think
you
he's a
follow any of
lawyer
these
and whatnot.
people
I
on
think these are
social-
all happily married.
Do you follow any of them
What?
on social media to this day to see what they look like, how they are, what they're up to?
So I know Chris is a working artist that like grew up to be successful, and I know that Dave is a lawyer in the family business, and I don't know whatever happened to Scott Persing. I can't find out.
It's part of the thing. I think every one of us keeps our restraining orders to let us, to remind us of the past relationships. Yeah, that's cool. I am in touch with no former, girlfriends.
That far back.
Yeah, that far back. I mean,
Crazy boy?
My first love was my neighbor who grew up down the street, Diana. She taught me how to tie my shoes.
Taught you how to tie your shoes.
The girl next door.
Yeah.
Tie my shoes.
Yeah, I swear to God, every now and then I'll be tying my shoes and I'll say, "Thanks, Diana."
And she taught you how to tie your first gag.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was a nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
We'll see you later. Wow. She taught you how to tie your shoes?
Yeah.
So what
I
grade
remember-
were you in?
I was a little
First
kid.
year of college.
She was no. She was. We were little kids. But she was like it was like Casey and
That's
Diana.
adorable.
Yeah.
That's
And I remember
adorable.
exactly where I was when I was standing in her driveway, like off to the right of the driveway in the grass, and that's where she taught me how to tie my own shoes.
And back, do you remember the day when like going steady really meant nothing at
Oh, it meant
all?
absolutely
I mean,
nothing,
you
oh,
were,
yes.
you were considered a couple, but like even holding hands wasn't
I was once
on the
told by a
table.
girl, Preston, that I was her boyfriend. And I guess I am then.
You are my boyfriend.
I guess this is how it works.
I love that.
Yeah, but in like in elementary school and stuff like that, you're like, oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I
Middle
guess
school,
we are.
Middle school that's where the hand holding in the hallway started, and then you'd give like an awkward hug before you each went into your classroom.
Right.
That was when you were dating.
Then after it was off to the mall shop, and then a quick handy in the parking lot.
The only time I held hands with girls was when we would go to the roller skating rink and they would have a couple skate and you would ask someone to skate.
Oh, yeah.
And
The
hold
couples-
hands. And 1 minute into the song, your hand is sweating profusely with the other person.
See, I didn't skate. I had to run alongside them. Yeah, which looked just dumb.
So you're panting and breathing. You poor thing. All right, listen, it's 8:01. We got to do this.
93.3 WMMR Philadelphia. It's time for a Good Money It keyword.
All right, the word is high, H-I-G-H, and you have until 15 minutes after the hour to enter that. There are 3 ways to do it. WMMR.com, the MMR app, or you can text it to the special contest short code number we have set up, which is 45911. One random entry will win $1,000 in our company-wide contest, and each winner gets a call from Beasley. Make sure you answer your phone. There are contest rules at WMMR.com, and it's brought to you by Horizon Services Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. So again, the word is high, H-I-G-H. Enter that right now, and good luck to you.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizzare Files.
All right, we will begin with this story. A man suffered serious injuries Sunday after police said another man, now charged with attempted murder, stabbed him with a butter knife during a quarrel over peanut butter and jelly.
Well, that's appropriate.
Javon J. Owens is charged with first-degree attempted murder. If convicted, Owens faces up to 30 years in prison or an extended sentence of up to 60 years. He was ordered detained pending a trial. So the stab wounds the victim received were sufficiently serious. This is with a butter knife.
A butter knife. That's I got to hear this.
And it's so much so he had to be transferred from a local hospital to one in Chicago to be treated.
Where was he stabbed with the butter knife?
In a few spots. So hospital staff reported the stabbing victim to police on Sunday. A witness told police that Owens and another man were arguing over peanut butter and the not cleaning up after themselves.
Oh, is the clean? It's not the whether chunky or smooth.
Right. The witness said she tried to put herself between the two men to de-escalate the argument, but Owens pulled out a butter knife and swung it over his shoulder, striking the other man. The witness said that she told Owens to leave to cool off. She brought the victim to the hospital. The man was transferred, like I said, to another one in Chicago to undergo further treatment after he suffered 5 stab wounds. The victim told police that he and Owens got into an argument because, quote, someone left peanut butter and jelly out on the counter.
I'm going to have to kill someone
He
now.
said they began arguing. Owens pulled out a butter knife, and the victim began throwing punches at Owens. And the victim told police he didn't realize he had been stabbed until he became lightheaded. When police asked the victim if he believed Owens would kill him, he said yes, 100%. Doctors told police his stab wounds punctured an intestine.
What? So
think about
obviously
how
a butter knife is rounded. It's a dull knife.
Yep.
The force with which you would have to jab someone with the butter knife to hit an intestine?
Yep. Owens has a violent criminal history. He was already on probation for a different crime at the time of the stabbing. That is messed up. Yeah, you have to have such.
That guy must butter toast in like a second.
Yeah, you have to be fiercely stabbing someone to penetrate that deep with a butter knife. Wow. A Kentucky lawmaker was critically injured when the lawnmower he was riding plunged into an empty swimming pool at his home.
Wow.
State Senator Johnny Turner was in critical but stable condition. Turner was injured when he drove his mower into the deep end of the pool. Authorities received a 911 call shortly before 8 p.m. on Sunday. They had no details about what caused the accident.
And there's probably no lifeguard on the scene.
Turner's injuries were not immediately disclosed. His family requested prayers for his speedy recovery. But that's a pretty long fall. If you're talking about like an 8-foot deep pool and you're in on some heavy machinery, chances are you go in, it falls on top of you.
We have an 8-foot section in our pool, and before it was filled, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
That's
a lot further down than you think. Exactly. So rescuers freed an 11-year-old boy who slipped between two boulders near his school and was trapped for more than 9 hours, a New Hampshire fire chief said on Monday. The boy was pried out of the boulders at about 3:15 a.m. when he was taken to a hospital for evaluation and released.
They used a new device called the around-the-shoulder boulder holder.
This is according to
him.
The Wedigo School, where the boy is a student. The school is a residential treatment center for boys. On Sunday, they said on Sunday evening, while under supervision, a student exploring a rocky area on campus slipped between two boulders when sticks and debris gave way beneath him. Despite multiple staff members' efforts to free the student, they were unsuccessful and promptly called local emergency rescue services. Responders worked tirelessly through the night, successfully rescuing the student in the early morning. They from at least 5 fire communities, they showed up and assisted in the rescue. The fire battalion chief, John Fosher, said, trying to move the giant boulders to try and free the child wasn't an option. Rescuers had initially attempted to break away some of the stone, but the child was still stuck. We basically, he said, had to tunnel underneath the boulder to get access to the child's feet, which allowed us something to push on from the bottom. Rescuers also used dish soap and applied friction-reducing sheets to the boy's knees and his back to help them lift him up and out. Wow.
At any point, did they entertain the notion of using C4?
They did.
To blow the boulders apart?
But they
figured there's a risk?
They thought it through and figured it wasn't a good idea. All right. Why did the chicken cross the road? Well, in San Francisco, it is to catch motorists breaking the law. On Monday morning, San Francisco Police Lieutenant Jonathan Ozol wore a flamboyant inflatable chicken costume as he attempted to navigate a crosswalk. Now, the purpose of the exercise was to issue tickets to drivers who flouted state law by not yielding to a pedestrian like Ozol as he attempted to cross.
We were just talking about this, following the law.
And quite a few drivers failed that test. The ostentatious costume, according to Police Captain Amy Hurwitz, served two purposes. She said, I don't want them to get run over, but the costume is so bright, it's like, how can you miss them? And you're going to continue on by. State law requires drivers to stop for pedestrians who are entering a crosswalk. Ozol said that failing to do so can result in a citation that could cost the driver a hefty fine.
This man deserves the Congressional Medal of Honor.
As much as $400. By the way, it's one of those costumes where it looks like you're riding on the back of a giant chicken, and it's actually your legs that are the chicken's feet.
I love every one of these
I
things.
do too, man.
Every one of them makes me laugh.
Yep. Monday's exercise, in this, Ozol would attempt to enter the crosswalk, and if a driver didn't yield or allow him to cross, he would wave it to two other police officers parked nearby. From there, one of the officers, one on a motorcycle, the other a standard squad car, would follow the flag driver and pull them over. And they managed to snag a whole bunch of people.
Have you ever seen people ignore people in the crosswalk? I see it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like pedestrian always has the right of way.
I will accidentally, in the city, because there's so much foot traffic, will accidentally
start to turn.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm the jerk.
It's hard to keep track of all that.
Yep.
That's why everyone in the city should wear chicken costumes.
For you this morning. All right, so the word for our Good Money It contest is high, and you have about 5 minutes left to enter that. So do that now, HIGH. You have until 15 minutes after the hour. You can enter it at WMMR.com, or you can go through the MMR app, or you can text it to our special number, which is 45911. So make sure that you do get on that right now. We are going to take a break. When we return, we will have our friend M. Night Shyamalan on the program, as well as his composer, James Newton Howard. They have a show coming up that we're going to talk to them about. So we'll be back in just a moment. Make sure you stay with us. First name.
What was his first name? Last name?
You just know his last name?
Joe.
Okay.
Let's go with Joe.
Hey, Joe, how were those tornadoes?
Those tornadoes were real.
I love that story so much.
Was he suggesting that they had incorporated? What was his point? Was that they were not created for the movie, that they were corralling tornadoes and using them in the film?
I think what he meant to say was those tornadoes looked real.
Okay.
But he said that they were real, and he had like a real affinity towards just weather. He loved weather.
He was a
all
weather
of it.
guy.
Yeah, he loved weather.
It was like Philip Seymour Hoffman in the movie.
Well, I mean, listen, he owned a pool supply and lifeguarding company, so weather was
what
definitely.
I really love is weather.
Yeah. Weather's important to that line of work. Absolutely.
Yeah. Those tornadoes are real.
Oh, my God.
I wonder if my brother's
great.
texting me.
It's almost kind of Don Nazi.
Yeah. And I tell you,
Wait, I just said Don Nazi.
Very different.
Don Nazi.
Citizens of Mayberry, I find nice and gloomy.
Oh my God, I didn't even mean to do that. Wow. Okay.
In here, I have something for him to do. We got to talk about this Jewish thing.
All right. But you guys would be surprised how many people are texting in on how this is their favorite movie.
What?
Or that it's their
I don't even get why
the
we're
best
talking
movie.
about it.
it's the 25th anniversary.
We're
Because
talking
those
about it
tornadoes
because
were real.
Who cares?
I mean, come on, Cap.
it
was real.
By the way, when Casey says that, he puts his hands by his sides.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like he pushes them into his sticks his elbows out and goes, it was real.
Those tornadoes were real.
Primal Fear. Ed Norton has them as a very diabolical character, right? I remember he's completely psychopathic.
A good twist.
It's a twist.
Too.
Yeah.
It's a twister.
It was real.
Those tornadoes were real. Dude. I can't believe we just met this guy.
I can't believe I never took.
You've never brought it
I
up.
love that.
Dude, that guy, man. He lived in this beautiful, huge home. I'm like, how the hell, like looking back on it, I'm like, how the hell did you just own a pool company? You know what I mean? Anyway.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, well, good on him.
My family money is real.
I want to get movie reviews from that guy.
Yes.
Other movies
from Joe.
Yeah.
I love it. After grieving her husband Prince Philip's death, Queen Elizabeth is back to her royal duties. On Tuesday, she made her first official appearance following Philip's funeral. And she was seen... Oh, grinning. I thought it said grinding.
I thought it said gurning.
She's gurning. Now, what's this? I'm sucking my chin into my mouth.
Wait, do we have the bell? It's the gurning.
Her Royal Majesty will now suck her chin into her mouth as part of the royal gurning. Her Royal Majesty will contort her face by sucking her chin up into her mouth.
If you're not familiar with gurning, it's when people like take their false teeth out and suck their lips into their mouth.
If you know what bitter beer face is.
Yeah, that's gurning. So she was seen gurning during two virtual audiences with Windsor Castle. So yeah,
Prince Charles will gurn simply by standing there.
No, it was grinning is the word I read incorrectly. So.
By the way, this very bell came from England.
No.
Really?
Yes, it did. I ordered it on Amazon, and it came, and there was the parcel information said from England. So maybe it's the one the Queen uses.
It might be. Might be.
Where's my goddamn bell?
the gurning.
I sold it on Amazon.
There we go. We had mentioned this earlier this morning, but it's definitely worth bringing up. The restaurant named Cadence, which is a BYOB on Girard Avenue, was named the best new restaurant by Food and Wine.
That's a super well respected journal in the world of the culinary happenings.
Yeah.
And so this is a big honor.
But in the order, you have Cadence is number 1 in Austin, Texas. Suerte. Frenchette in New York. Conby in Los Angeles. Kumiko in Chicago. These are all one-word names.
Manny's Chili Dogs.
Ah, that's on there. No, Pat's Chili Dogs.
Pat's Chili Dogs.
Yes.
Definitely the best theme.
Yeah.
Voted #1 in Food and Wine magazine. Yeah, baby.
That was from the band Cinderella when they were big in the area. They did
Hi, we're Warren. When we're in town, we want some good chili dogs. We always read through Food and Wine magazine to see who won.
They did a commercial for Pat's Dogs.
That building is now a
We buy gold.
Oh, is it really?
We buy gold. Gold for sale. No more chili dogs. Job not going well. Next step, selling blood.
Yeah. So number 6 on this list is Ada, which is Ada Indian Canteen.
Ooh, I love canteens. When you go in that, you need water.
Fox and the Knife in Boston.
Boston sucks.
Hey, we beat Boston.
Love me some good Fox.
There you go.
Suck at Boston.
How's the Fox at this place?
Indigo in Houston. Nightshade in Los Angeles. And in New Orleans, a place called Piece of Meat.
There you go. You know, it's I think one of the most difficult parts of a restaurant would be a name that means something and pops to people.
Yeah.
You know, like Pat's Chili Dogs.
Right. That's. Yeah, I mean, you know, the name will only get you so far, but it is an added bonus. Answer the phone, by the way. Thank you very much. I don't know. If you had a restaurant, what would you name it?
I'd name it Answer the Phone.
Yeah, thank you.
Because
I'm sorry. I'm tired of waving my arms.
Yeah.
It's been happening
You
the
lose
last few
business.
days, and I'm just going to say answer the phone.
Answer the goddamn phone.
Yeah, answer. In fact, I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
That should be the name of the restaurant.
Answer the goddamn.
Answer the goddamn.
Answer the goddamn phone. Great food. Answer the goddamn phone. Open all night.
We've been mentioning all morning long, tickets for the Barbecue go on sale right now. It is exactly 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets. The lawn seats start at just $25, and we want you to get on board because we want you to be there for all of the bands and all the activities that are taking place. We're going to have Aaron Jones, who we just played, Dorothy, Mammoth, Wolfgang Van Halen's band, Mammoth will be there, Dirty Honey, Cheap Trick, The Offspring, and the band that this gentleman is in, who is joining us right now. We're so excited to have Jane's Addiction on the bill.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've seen them before. I saw them at the Spectrum ages ago.
Amazing, right?
Blew me out of the water. One of my favorite shows in that building of all time. Please welcome Mr. Dave Navarro. Our show today. Good morning, Dave.
Hi, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. That's a very nice welcome.
It's our pleasure, man. Like I said, yeah, I've seen you guys before. I know the kind of energetic show that you bring, and that you guys get the audience in on the party. You make it happen, and it's been a while since we've partied, Dave. So big expectations.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, big expectations for me too. I got to tell you, the other night, LA is starting to open up and have indoor eating and dining and things like that. And I went to a restaurant the other night, and it was overwhelming. Just people and noise and things going on and plates being dropped. And then I thought forward to our show coming up in September. I was like, man, I'm not even prepared to be in a restaurant.
Baby steps.
But you know what I mean? Like, what is it going to be like walking out onto like a festival audience with you guys? But I'm excited to do it, man. It's been a long time. So
the way
we're pretty psyched.
The way it's progressing is that the show is it's at the end of September. So again, everyone's sort of feeling their way. It's like the cobwebs are lifting and the doors are opening and everyone's looking above ground. And by that time, I think we're going to be in a nice swing of things. But I I can't think of a better scenario, especially since it'll be a little bit cooler in September.
Yeah.
And you know, the roster's great. And Preston's seen you guys a number of times, and I've always wanted to see Jane's Addiction, and this is, people are freaking out.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm also super excited to see Wolfgang's band.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been talking quite a bit about that, David. I want to get your take on this because the music that we've heard so far, very impressive. He had a lot to live up to, and that's another thing. And I'm hoping for the best because not only is he a young musician trying to make his way, but I need somebody to carry on that Eddie
legacy.
Legacy. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a tremendous amount of pressure on him, I assume. I'm sure he's gladly going to take this on, but it's got to be a weird position to be in.
Yeah, I would imagine the best thing for him is to acknowledge that and be aware of it, but to just do his own thing, man.
Yeah.
He's his own human being, and like he's got his direction musically. And from what I've seen, it is very different than Van Halen. It's a little bit more, more modern rock, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic, and I want to see him. I want to check out the band, and I'm going to do everything in my power to not tell him how much your dad meant to me.
It's hard though, right?
It's going to be impossible, but you know how hard that's going to be to not do. But yeah, I mean, I hope the best for him, and I typically don't get to when we do these festival shows. I typically don't get to them early, but I'm definitely going to come down and check out Wolfie, and I'll probably check out Cheap Trick too, because Xander's a friend and I played with him a bunch of times. And a weird side note for me is that I think the first concert I ever went to was Cheap Trick opening up for Kiss.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. Like in the 70s.
Yeah.
And so to be on the same bill with them as Cheap Trick and as Jane's Addiction is a pretty big deal for me. Just in terms of having a little personal clash with my own history, I suppose.
Well, Dave, I have to tell you, I had my upper thigh felt at a backyard barbecue to a Cheap Trick song in the 70s. So, yes.
I don't know that we can top that experience for you.
I mean, that was good.
Hey,
Dave, at least you had that.
I wanted to ask, with the length of time it's been since musicians have had a chance to do live shows. I mean, you can pick up the guitar and you can play it and you can keep your chops going, just doing a little rehearsing here and there and writing and whatever you may be doing. But is there a difference between being, keeping the instrument fresh and being on stage? Or do you have to get your stage legs together, essentially, is what I'm asking?
I mean, I think...
Great. Excellent. So our next guest is joining. I see one guest.
Yes.
I don't know if there's going to be two guests or not, but we're going to work on this.
I think he's in a different room. Okay, so it's one of those whoever's talking.
There's our other guest right there. All right, look at this state-of-the-art technology.
So they're joining us via Zoom, and they have an event that's coming up on Friday. It will be at Marian Anderson Hall, and it's called Night After Night, the music of James Newton Howard. If you're not familiar with the name James Newton Howard, if you've seen any M. Night Shyamalan films, or almost all of them, the music that you hear was scored by him. But not just that, loads of movies.
Shall we say a plethora?
A plethora of films. So Pretty Woman, The Fugitive, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. This is just to name a few, and it has had a long history in rock and roll as well. So we're excited to welcome both these guys. A good friend of ours, first of all, Mr. M. Night Shyamalan is joining us.
Hi, guys.
How you doing,
How are
man?
you?
Good to see you again.
Good. Great to see you, too.
Excellent. And also joining us, we will welcome James Newton Howard to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning, James.
Good morning. Nice to be in Philly.
Excellent. And where are you? Are you physically in Philly right now, James?
I am physically in my hotel room. It's just in front of the coffee bar.
It looks like a splendid coffee bar. We've heard, by the way, that you can always goose hotel coffee by taking the complimentary packet of hot chocolate and adding that to that.
Sounds tasty.
Night. So the show that's coming up on Friday, have you guys done this on occasion where you put these shows? Has this been going on for a while?
No. This is something that James came to me with, and it was such a beautiful dream that he had. And I mean, I was super, super honored, that he thought that our work together was worthy of an album. And It's just a lovely thing. It's, very magical relationship, me and James, and at least from my point of view, it's one of the great blessings of my life. And it's emotional just even to talk about kind of an album of our work together. And then obviously on Friday, it's going to be super emotional.
I love this stuff. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been into movie soundtracks. The artists, from Bernard Herrmann and Jerry Goldsmith and John Barry and all of them. And it's such an essential part of movie making, Night. And it to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think James could echo this. It's such an essential part of the movie, and it is you as the director and writer so many times. James is every bit as important to the movies that he's helped score, correct?
Yeah, it's so powerful. It conveys so much emotional storytelling that in there is the trick, because it's a kind of like two lead singers or something in a band. It has to work just right. And so, my mentality is, James will tell you if we get into any anecdotes about our movies. I'm like, there's no music in this movie I'm doing. We're not going to put any music. And then I'll be like, okay, we'll start at the 1 hour mark. And that's the first time the music's going to come in. And, I have to have the ability that I could lead sing the band by myself and make it so that the story is strong enough without the help of James's brilliance. Then James comes in and strengthens everything, and his storytelling kind of nuances where the emotional GPS for each character is in a more intense and binding way.
Knight, when does music start entering your mind when you're working on a project? Is it sometimes when you're writing things on a page, or is it after you've got things on film? Is it actively during scenes that you are filming at the time, or is it when the project's done and then you want to add it to it?
It varies, but the ideal version is when James and I work together. I will give them the script, obviously, and then probably around the storyboard stage, when I've storyboarded the entire film, he'll come out to Philly. I'll basically perform like a one-man play, the movie for him, and go, and then this happens, and then we push in, and then like this, and he'll feel the movie, and then ideally he'll go away and write a suite of music, like, I don't know, James, what do you think, like 6 to 12 minutes, something like that,
Yeah, or several short ideas that you may respond to, and then I can go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, so just coming from the same narrative pool, and then we're kind of walking side by side together a bit in an ideal way. Sometimes we find nuggets, sometimes we find the whole thing. And sometimes it's just those aren't the ways that's not quite fitting. Like Signs, he wrote that whole theme before we shot the movie, so I had that whole thing from Signs before I even shot the first thing, and I played it for everybody in the office. Back in those days, it was CDs, and we played it for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's a deeply personal thing. You have to be very empathetic, James. I think for you, there's got to be a skill set. You are clearly an accomplished musician and composer, and you were doing research about you in your earlier days. You were multi capable musician, a session musician, and so you were not really thinking in this way. But I think one attribute you have to have is that you have to be inherently collaborative. Is that something you took to early, James? Has that always been part of your skill set, or is it something that developed working with directors as intimately as you do?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it began in the beginning. I don't know if I was super collaborative. In fact, when I would get a note from the director, in the early days, I felt like physically assaulting him. But but I got better over time, and I was very arrogant in the beginning because I'd been with Elton John's band, and I had written all this orchestral stuff with him, and I felt like, yeah, let me show you how good this movie can be. And it just wasn't always the case. So eventually, I'd say after the first 10 years or so, I realized the better listener I was, the better composer I was going to be. And what Knight said about emotional point of view, he is so right about that. Whose character are we with at any given moment? And I think I learned about that and about storytelling from Night. I really did, and I think that's one of the reasons that these scores that we have done together, in terms of my work, are so distinctive. They just don't sound like anybody else's.
I mean, when they're done, and your stuff is magnificent, and this is going to be a great experience for people to participate and see this union, this process take place. But we've been able to develop friendships with Michael Giacchino and Laura Cartman, and we had Mike Post on recently, and there's such a magic that takes place, and I don't think there are very few relationships creatively and collaboratively that I think can mirror this, because we've all seen movies where the movie itself, at its essence, might be great, but the music seems to be working against it. And you know what I'm saying?
That's for sure. I mean, I think that's what Knight said earlier. The impact of music on a movie is just profound. And you have those movies where you feel like the music is inseparable from the movie, and you can't imagine watching that movie with any other music. And then, as you said, yeah, sometimes it gets intrusive, or it's too loud, or lots of ways it can go wrong.
I was reading an interview with you, James, and you were talking about The Village, which we think is a very undervalued, underrated movie, and and then B, you described, which I thought was cool, is trying to find your point of entry, your portal, so to speak, and to have the music really echo how Bryce Dallas Howard's character was processing everything. Do you have to look for that eureka moment, or can you just start writing and it will come to you? Does it work both ways?
Yeah, it works both ways. I mean, I think, as Knight said, my early on in the process sometimes are completely successful. And I go, wow, fireworks and everything. I can't believe we got it. And I remember there was one point in Signs where Knight didn't like something, and I said the famous words, "I'm profoundly disappointed." I mean, I was serious, believe it or not. But I was profoundly. The Village was slightly different, because I think my first take on it was kind of more of an action thriller type take, and I felt that eventually we were missing what we really needed there, which is the voice of Ivy and the emotional complexity of the movie. And I think we ended up doing that with solo violin. Had a huge amount to do with it. You agree with that, Knight?
Yeah, I would say that was a great lesson in the process of making a movie, which is very much an organic relationship. It's you're in a relationship with that story and those characters. And like all relationships, if you're not listening, if you're just talking over them, it's not a healthy thing. And in The Village, we were approaching it with, hey, I think this is a scary movie and we want it to be a thriller. So let's keep going. And the movie kept on fighting us and saying, it's a love story. And why aren't you hearing us? And then once
why aren't you writing that?
Why aren't you writing that? And then when he started to write it, we were like, wow, that piece is working fantastic. Okay, write another thing. And it just started to become this story of emotion, not necessarily fear.
If you're just tuning in, M. Night Shyamalan and composer James Newton Howard are joining us. They have an event coming up Friday night at the Mirror in Anderson Hall. It is called Night After Night, the music of James Newton Howard. James, we were just talking to some people recently in the creative field, and how sometimes a project, let's say you're a rock band, you make an album, and then when you're done with it, afterwards you still second guess parts of it and think it wasn't completed and right and done. And that's just, 7 or 8 songs or something like that. You have such a voluminous amount of music that you're writing through all these projects. Do you, when the project is done and it's out there and it's in the world for the public consumption, do you still kind of go back in your mind, I should have done this, I should have done that, or do you let it go?
That's a good question. I really think it depends on the movie and the score. And I think that since we're talking about Nights and my collaboration, I did not have that feeling that we left anything uninvestigated there. And that's because the nature of our collaboration is unique, and it's so communicative. And as I said before, Night has really taught me about really paying attention to each character and whose point of view we are in. And I think if you get that right, you got the whole thing right. But generally speaking, yes, there are often cases where I think, didn't get that right, or ooh, that was a terrible cue. Listen, I've been doing this for 40 years now, so in the first number of years, I'm sure I wrote some bad music. In fact, I guarantee you I wrote some bad music, but I try not to ruin the film, basically. But yeah.
Do you have the situation where at this point, and obviously, you know, the awards and the accolades, all this coming your way and well deserved, can you sit down and watch a movie and have your own music give you goosebumps?
Well, you mean, am I my own biggest fan?
You don't need to be overly impressed with yourself, but does it, in other words,
like, ooh, that was good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can. I mean, when I in conjunction with the film, especially, I mean, gosh, there are just times where, you know, the hand of fate whole thing in Signs, as it reaches its pinnacle of emotion. That's one of those moments when Ivy's running down the gravel road, and you know, in fact, right now I get goosebumps thinking about that story because I think it's the combination of the music and the movie. I don't know if I get it by myself. I can sit there and think, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
But the real goosebumps, I think, have to be joined with the movie.
It's wild because looking for that moment in the movie, and we've been fans, and ever since we've known Night and Unbreakable, I just is an astonishing work. And Night, you've talked about how it was, you know, it seemed a weird time in your life and so on and so forth. But, you know, watching that movie again just recently, James, there's this sequence to me, and I don't know if I'm off on this, but where everything in the music in the movie finds itself is when Bruce Willis goes to the wreckage, and he's going through, and he's starting to go, oh, wait a second. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's some. Am I correct? Please tell me I'm correct.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's such a bullseye comment, because for me that was the catharsis of the story, I guess, if that's the right word. It's like at the moment that he has a realization of who he is. The music gets a chance. Night wasn't afraid to let me go big on some of these situations because the story has epic consequences. You know, this is a battle with global kind of consequences. So, but good on you for recognizing that moment, because I feel the same way.
All right,
you know, James is part of I wouldn't say a field that's shrinking, but that's what it feels like. I don't have any empirical evidence for what I'm about to say, but the composers that I grew up watching that really, really affected me are thematic composers. So you remember these themes of these movies that we love so much, and they're on top of the movie, and so their musical dialogue is there with the actual dialogue. That is a high risk, high reward way of writing music. It's bold, it's nowhere to hide, and you're taking your position on the stage as a lead singer, and those are the composers that I love. Now we're getting a little bit more of atmospheric composition, which is just a tone that's underneath the scene, just essentially a tone, a feeling underneath. No actual storytelling, but just setting the stage kind of thing. And that's beautiful and wonderful, but it's a different skill set than what James does. James literally comes up, this is Ivy's theme, this is what it feels like to be this man in this point in his life. And it's bold and it's a rare gift. And so, you know, it's really a dream to have, you know, become a brother and a collaborator with one of these guys. There's so few of them.
With that, and I know this is just semantics, but James, is there a difference between a theme and a song? And do you ever try to write songs if there is a difference for a character in a film?
Yes, that has happened I do not consider myself a songwriter, but oftentimes a song will play an important part in the score, depending on what scene it's in. It could be a really defining moment. But yeah, basically the theme is kind of I think of as an instrumental thing. A song is specifically something that the human voice is singing words.
Okay.
But sometimes there's a song and I have to deal with the theme of the song and work it into the movie, or get into the song, or get some music that gets us out of the song and back into the movie, that kind of stuff. I like working with great songs. That's a help.
I'm sure. Knight, I want to double back for just a second because we did mention Unbreakable, and this is totally unrelated to music, but I have a torn meniscus, so I went to a specialist to go get it checked out, and I was at the Penn Sports Medicine building, and I was sitting in that building, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, I know this room. Is that where you filmed the scene with Sam Jackson as Mr. Glass when he comes to Robin Wright to, it's connected right to Franklin Field. Did you guys shoot there?
It sure sounds familiar. I'm so, that sounds right when you say that.
Okay.
Yeah, everything you just said sounds right. I'm getting emotional color, so that's where I am. I'm so,
If you could just do me a favor and say that was the case, it would make him very happy.
That was it. You were in the exact same seat.
You shoot around here for everything, and when I'm in a spot that I've seen in one of your movies, I'm like, this is it. This is it. This is where it happened. This is it right here. So I love those moments.
It very well. You could have been in the exact same position as Sam.
Okay.
It's funny though that those things you can't, and you talk about Unbreakable. You talk about The Happening, Lady in the Water. All of these movies, the music is such an inextricable part. So this ability to have people see it and see it in this manner is going to be terrific. With all of the accumulation of work that you both have done. It's funny. I was reading about you, James, and the thing you get recognized, or at least people bring up the most, is the theme to ER. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, that was a great theme, I have to say, for the opening of that movie. But
it is a great theme.
It's not exactly what I want to be known for. It was a great pilot. John Wells is a cool guy, and it was a moment in time, and. So it hung around for like 15 years, that show. So, people got used to hearing it for a long time. I think that's it's decided they know me for. Yeah.
It's funny because when we were talking to Mike Post, he mentioned a couple of themes that, been iconic. And he talked, I think it was Hill Street Blues, and he said that I just wrote that. It came down to that. I just put it to, whatever on the piano and had it. Is that the same case? How often do you, James Newton Howard, encounter that situation where you just believe you're a conduit channeling what was meant to be?
I do believe that. And I think that probably what Mike was also talking about is improvising. And because how else do you get started? I mean, I don't have a fully fledged idea in my brain. I sit at the piano and I improvise. And I think what happens is I've gotten better at recognizing when I accidentally have done something worth repeating, if that makes any sense.
It does.
I bump into a theme and I go, oh, what was that? That was catchy. So yeah, I think it's part inspiration and 10% inspiration, 90% work.
One of my great joys is being in the room. This is probably, James, this is probably super rare what you do. I'll be in LA sometimes and I'll be in his studio and we're working on a scene and he'll just write right in front of me at the piano, and watching him kind of do this, I don't know what the brainwave state is, theta. I don't know. You guys probably know better, where you're like open to the universe and he's just kind of channeling and he's playing and I'll go, whoa, what was that? And that felt like her struggle right there. And then I'll, overly articulate why I felt that struggle is appropriate for what, he wrote there. And so it's just a lovely thing to see. I mean, you feel very lucky to be in the presence at that moment when someone is channeling.
I remember when I was looking for the theme to The Sixth Sense and our first movie together, and, I was sending material. I said, I don't think I have it. And then you identified one phrase. I think it was when the little boy goes into the church early in the movie and he has his little soldiers and he's putting on the back of the pews. And you said, there's this one part, there's one part, and we identified the part, and that became, it was just a phrase, but it was such great thing that you recognize it and that we able to turn it into a identifier.
So you can build on one phrase, one little bit of music, phrasing for using the term, can build on to the entire structure of a film in its
Absolutely.
Score. Wow.
In fact, sometimes I think Knight has been specific about, we need to find a theme that is also identifiable in its smallest kind of iteration. You know, you hear notes, you hear things, and what he wanted always, and this is another learning process for me, is to have something that was the smallest little motif or melody that you could hear and say, that's the Sixth Sense.
Right.
You did that for Signs. Signs has kind of like it's just a couple of like notes.
Notes.
But it gets reworked. It works in moments of horror, and then it's reconfigured into the family. And then I love when that happens, when the music is realized in different ways throughout a movie. And so you've said that Night has made you a better composer. Explain what you mean by that.
Well,
he didn't mean it.
He did not mean it.
No, I think I learned a lot from Night. I think the thing is, the music with Night is unlike anything else I have done. So I became a more disciplined composer, and I became a better listener. I became a better collaborator, and I think the work that we came up with is among the best work I've ever done, to me. So I think it's more than just a better composer. Yeah, I guess all those things do add up to being a better composer.
Knight, you recently posted on social media a picture of a red notebook, and were indicating that it's a new project. There are new ideas. This is filled with a new film that's going to be coming out. By the way, do you have that notebook nearby, and can we see it?
See it. It's somewhere in my bag here. I think it's right here.
And this is what you'll do. You'll fill up a notebook with ideas. There it is, right there, inside of that, locked in that. Wow, that's where it is. The next one.
There it is.
Have you revealed to James what that is yet? Do you do things like that in this early of a stage?
You know, it depends on where I am confidence-wise. Because when you tell somebody a story, you know, like say if I said to you right now and I said, okay, you know, here's the story, and then I say it, your facial reaction and your reaction would kill it or make it fly. You would have way too much power in this relationship. And so I would just immediately go, oh, and then I get off and I'd be like, wow, Preston, I think he didn't really like that. And I'm like, he's right. This is a tired idea. And then it would die. You know, it would just,
I hear that listen, that's so cool to hear you say that, because I think, and even at our level of, you know, which is radio and an occasional fart joke, we sit there, we go, wait a second. Wait, I don't know if that got the right reaction. Right. So it's cool to hear you at your level say that.
Keep it to yourself until it's time, until you've put enough work into it, I guess.
Yeah, it has to get to the place. But, you know, James and then just one or two other people that would get the early read that, you know, in the process. Those are the people that approach art with love, you know, because I honestly believe that art can only be, you know, helped when you approach it with love. You can't come at it from another way, and that doesn't mean you're saying everything is lovely. You're just kind of just like you would someone that you love. You love the essence of who they are, and you're supporting them to become the best version. And you can feel that when it's coming from that or a kind of like ambivalent place or a aloof place. And I'm way too fragile, and that's probably why I live 3,000 miles away from Los Angeles, that I couldn't possibly hear, you know. I remember just one time I had a composer out of college, and I remember I was writing a script, and I was like, yeah, you know, I'm writing a script, and I told him what it was, and he's like, you're writing a script about ghosts? As a little kid, and I was like, and I remember his face, and I was like, you're right.
Stupid.
Yeah, that is stupid.
That's
but,
hilarious.
you know, I think it's when, you know, I don't think of you as fragile at all. I think, and I'm the same way, when you're in that vulnerable state of just kind of getting your footing on the story. Like I'll play works in progress to my wife, music in the early stages, and she inevitably has a comment about it. And I immediately feel my hair started back of my neck, and I just want to slowly. I walked away, red, angry that she dare say something critical about it.
It's like you don't understand the arrangement here. I brought this to you to give me adulation and praise. This is not what I was looking for.
I didn't really want to know what you think.
But there is something real about what we're talking about, that what you just felt, and there's I forgot which author it is. It's a big time author that I love, and she has a hotel room, and goes to the hotel room to write. That's all she does. Goes to and then comes home and then reads to her husband what she wrote. And the deal is the husband cannot say a word, cannot react in any way. You just have to. He just has to stand there while she reads the words. And I totally get that, which is she wants to hear her own voice, her reaction to it, rather than him saying, or whatever. It's a beauty. It's so profound, this thing that we're talking about. We and our wives are the same, exactly the same. Like if I say, hey, you this, and then Bobna will say something supportive or what, it's a lot of power. She doesn't even want it at this point. She's just like, don't even tell me. Don't even tell me.
It's like you're fishing. You're like fishing for something bad to be said.
Right.
Like a focus group. Is there anything you didn't like about this movie?
There's a great scene in the Chevy Chase movie, Funny Farm, where he is this sports writer who wants to write a great caper novel, and he gets a special hotel room with his wife and read it, and she reads it, and she goes, what do you think? And she starts crying. She goes, it's terrible. The chronology's all off, and then stories start. So that's the risk you run. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, James, and Knight, jump in on this as well. I know it's occasionally the case where a director will be putting together a movie and will put music in place, just grab music that they feel is appropriate to a scene as sort of a basis. When a director hands you something like that, James, is it yay, or is it I wish they hadn't done that?
Well, I think we call that temp music, right?
Right.
Temporary music that a filmmaker will borrow from other movies just to help massage an early cut. This is what it's going to feel like when there's music. And I have always felt that a temp score didn't scare me because either it was so bad that I would have no problem doing something way better, or it was so great it would give me something to really aspire to. Okay. Knight is the only director I've ever worked with that does not use any music during his cutting process. No temp music, nothing. I was given the opportunity to provide that with my demos. I make really good mock-ups, with synthesizers. And that's a huge special thing because I'm not influenced by anything other than, my communication with Knight.
Yeah. This is a big subject, what you just talked about. It is part of the process of making movies, and a very practical, understandable process, because if we need to show a movie to an audience, they don't know how to watch a movie without music. So you have to have some music in way before the composer has had a chance to really do the process. So they're putting in temp music. It totally makes sense for the process of how to judge a movie and get it made. However, it is, you ultimately end up doing kind of an ersatz version of that score sometimes, where you're it's temped with James's music, then the other composer on that film is slightly copying James's approach. Oh, I know why the horns worked for that character. I can do a different theme with horns, and you're kind of just, Now the great news is the composer then who's coming on a temp movie isn't lost, it's a closer way to go. They're aiming you in a direction, right? So it's safer for them to do it. Now in our case, I don't temp at all. So I'm showing my audience a movie with no music for them to watch it. We get into a very kind of strained relationship early on. And I endure that pain for the hope of what happens with me and James, that we will find a singular thing that only he could have written or she could have written. It's only in that moment could it happen, and only without it connected to a lineage that has come before from wonderful films, starting again and taking that there's no safety net there. right? So it's really, really scary.
That's great. That's great.
For the composer, yeah.
That's cool. You guys clearly have a special, unique relationship, which has made it very successful.
And you can see it on display.
Yeah. So Friday night is when the event is at Marian Anderson Hall. Night. How is the evening going to run? What are you guys going to be doing for the audience?
James, you wanna kind of run through the evening a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, this space, the Night After Night, is an album that I did. I took the scores that I've done with Night, and I made suites out of them, like sort of longer pieces, 7, 8, 9 minutes, that have the essence of the scores in them, but they also have original material to join one idea to the next. So it's not just a mashup. Oh yeah, this cue, and then mashed up to that cue, and this is the chase scene. And then I'll be talking about what the meaning of those things were for me, about process a little bit, about my interaction with Night, and it'll be kind of half concert, half mini TED Talk, I think, is part of it.
Yeah, I'm watching just a couple of films I think you did for the Sony channel or whatever, just these short little segments. There's a ton of great anecdotal stories and a lot of fun and funny stuff that went on as well. So it's going to be a great night.
Night, are you on stage? Are you coming out for the event?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Are you speaking to the audience?
I am. I think I will be. Yeah. So it'll be wonderful. A wonderful night. So I'm so proud of our relationship. And me, for me, it means I did something okay. The energy was in the right place, and the universe brought James to me.
That's great. All right, listen, we got to wrap up here in just a second, but Shyamalan, do you want to mention anything about that?
Yes, coming up, man. Our 10th anniversary Shyamalan event here. 10 years, you guys.
10 years, a decade.
Yeah, I got
a decade of tequila. That's what it's
10.
By the way, the biggest shot pushers that night are Knight and his wife are walking around forcing shots on people all night long.
Oh, I don't know if it was forced, really.
Well, maybe a little twisting, but yeah. So how do people, if they want to get tickets, how do they do
you
that?
go to the M&S Foundation, and we have we have everything there for you to come. We're so excited. It sells out pretty quickly. We'd love to see you there. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. Super fun party. Obviously, we're doing a ton of good with all the money that comes in for our leaders around the world and in Philadelphia. We'd love to see you there. It is actually one of the best parties in Philadelphia. So.
Agreed. Oh, it's a blast, man. Excellent. Well, listen, good luck Friday night. James, it's wonderful to meet you. We're big fans of yours, and we wish you nothing but more success in this continued partnership with Knight. And, of course, Knight, we always love having you on. So thanks for the check-in. And anytime you got something coming up and you want to chat, please let us know.
Thank you, guys. You guys are family.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for the great questions.
Anytime. James Newton Howard and M. Night Shyamalan on our program this morning. Very, very cool to have them join us today.
Just fascinated by that process.
I know.
Just fascinated about on that level to go, because you know how we're all movie fanatics, and think of the movies bereft of the music that you attach to it.
Just the talent level blows me away that they can sit down. People of this ilk, both on the film side and the music side, and just from scratch create all this. It's so much work.
Where do you get that kind of ilk? We're ilkless.
I'm out of ilk. I need more ilk. Let's take a break, and we'll see if we can find our ilk. We'll come back in a moment. Maybe Yeardly Smith has it. She'll be joining us next. So stick around. We'll be back in a moment.
I don't know. We've been doing it for so long. And, believe it or not, Jane's Addiction has historically taken years off, years of hiatuses. And so, we're just coming out of COVID. And it's been a while since we've been on stage. But we are, ironically, very used to getting back together after years of not doing it. So hopefully we are experienced in trying to make it look seamless once we get back on the stage. But usually when the first downbeat happens and Perry gets into his trip, it's pretty easy to get lost in that environment and just kind of go back to second nature. Fortunately, a lot of these songs have been with us for 30 years, so it should be pretty seamless.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Dave Grohl has this special coming out about the van life, evolutionary period of a band. Was that you guys? Was that Jane's? Were you guys doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We our first tour was in a van with the entire band and the one crew member that we had and all of our gear in a U-Haul behind us, and like literally taking turns driving and just freezing and sick and hating each other and in close quarters. And when you do get to a motel, you all share a room. Like it was, you know, the early days were rough stuff.
Well, I was surprised to find out when Dave is mentioning when Nevermind came out, this album is out. It's starting to hit. They're still in a van traveling to shows. It is, you know, this is a groundbreaking record. This is huge. This is rock and roll history right here. And they're still driving around a van. When Nothing Shocking, were you guys still doing the van thing when that came out?
I know that we had a couple of tiers. So we went from a van to what we thought was a great idea, which was a Winnebago.
Okay.
So it wasn't quite a bus. It was a Winnebago. It was like literally like a mobile home. And we broke out a window. One of the side windows got shattered somehow. So we were literally touring around the East Coast in the dead of winter.
Oh, no.
With just freezing cold 75-mile-an-hour wind just wafting through the Winnebago.
Did you try to tape up like a trash bag or something?
Well, you try. You try everything. And then finally at some point you're like, fuck it, we'll deal with it. And we just, we just sat there and like dealt with it. But I think that, you know, I think there's something to be said about those old days that like we really, I don't know that we would be the same band without them. You know, we really had to. I mean, there were gigs. We were putting in vans, and we'd pull up to the club, and we would load out and load in our own gear ourselves. So it would be like a Jane's Addiction show. Thank you, good night, and then start winding up cables and putting guitars in cases and trying to push your amp off the stage, get ready for the next band. I really appreciate having had those experiences. As much as I would never want to do them again, I think they really taught us how to be a band.
I was in my 20s. I was a band guy. I'm a drummer. And so just a couple of last year, I was like, I got together with some guys. We created a cover band, and we went out, we played some gigs. And I tell you what, Dave, on that first night, at 3 o'clock in the morning, when we're putting the last bit of crap back into the van, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking, man? This sucks. You know?
It's a little different when you're 17 and you're pushing stuff in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, right now, like, my lower spine cannot handle carrying an amp.
It's just not going to happen.
Dave, we're able to Zoom with you right now, and looking over your shoulder, is that a cuckoo clock up on the wall? And if so, what's the story behind that?
Actually, there's probably 12 of them in this house. I collect them. That's cool. It's just a weird thing. And, you know, cuckoo clocks, when I was a kid, that was like in cartoons, that was the symbol of crazy.
Yeah.
Like if someone was crazy, you'd see a little cuckoo or a bird would come out. And I just kind of came with this whole embracing. I do a company called Dual Diagnosis, which is it's an art/clothing company that's geared at lifting the stigma of mental health issues.
Right.
And, you know, there's a whole story behind the cuckoo. I don't know if you know about it, but if you look inside that box, it's all complicated gears and springs and coils and wires. There's this little bird that's trapped in there. It can't fly out because it's held down by these weights.
Yeah.
You see the weights that hang down?
Right.
Which could be, you know, its emotional baggage, for instance. And so until it drops that baggage, it can't fly and reach its full potential.
Wow.
And it's locked in this confusing box that's making it crazy. So, yeah, I collect them, and then we also use them artistically throughout the Dual Diagnosis company, and that's spelled DUAL Diagnosis, and dualdiagnosis.com.
Well, I never realized there were so many metaphors attached to a cuckoo clock, but I
think that I invented them, but they were.
But that's good. I can completely see that, because I'm fascinated by little mechanisms and the artistry of that stuff, animatronic things, and all of that. Have you yourself ever designed a cuckoo clock?
I designed what I called a cuckoo clock wristwatch. Was when I took that clock and I duct taped it on my arm.
Okay, that counts.
This is a crazy watch, but no, I'm not a tinkerer. For instance, I love watches. I love components. I love things that work like that. But I mean, these things, you know, they're kind of genius, and the implications, like the humorous implications that they contain, are kind of funny, and you just don't see them anymore. But if you look around my house, like I think there's one over there.
Yeah.
There's one there. There's one on the other side. So there's like 15 of them in here. But the best part is that they're all set at different times.
Yeah.
So throughout the day, just a different bird is coming out.
That's great.
And it will literally drive you insane. I mean, if you're not insane already, put up 5 cuckoo clocks. You know what it's like.
Yeah, you know, my sister's actually obsessed with cuckoo clocks as well, but she does not have one. Maybe that is a good gift for me to get for her.
It's a great gift, and they you know they make them battery operated now, but the ones that are really special are the ones that are handmade, that use the actual weight system to have the tell time, and even the pendulum has to be hung at the right length, otherwise it's going to either tick too fast or too slow.
Okay.
So they're very complicated things, but they are interesting to be obsessed with.
I completely get it. Yeah.
I did not expect to be talking about those.
Well, I'm sure you're not going to expect to talk about this either. Are you wearing a Snuggie right now?
No, right now I am wearing a it's like a hooded cape. This is like for outdoors life.
That's
ceremonial outdoor life, and it happens to be 7 a.m. here in LA, and I just happen to be freezing. But I will tell you this: I am not opposed to a straight up Snuggie either.
No, why would you be?
Dave, who would you say between you and Perry? You guys are artists to the core.
Yeah.
Who's a little more quirky in their personality? Is it you or Perry?
We both have a lot of, I guess, independent thought, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I would say that, I would say Perry, just because being a frontman of a band like this and having to have that sensibility and be on every night and deliver every night, like I get to turn around and hide behind the guitar and like get lost in my instrument, which I love, because I did a solo tour in 2000, and I just came to learn that I didn't love it. I didn't love leading the band. I didn't love being the lead singer. I didn't love the eyes. I didn't love the pressure. And Perry can do that really well, and he, in fact, loves it. So I would say that there is a component to his personality that allows him to be that extroverted on stage and do it with authority and conviction. So I don't know if I would say he's more quirky, but I would say that he has what it takes to front a band.
Yeah,
better than most, I would say. And I think along with that kind of mentality, you've got to have some walls down, to allow yourself to be that raw in front of people.
Totally.
And while at the same time having certain walls up. So I think it's a microcosm of some kind of very strange dance that goes into being a lead singer. And, he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best frontmen that have been around in the past 30 years.
Is it hard, speaking to that point about, because you let a lot of you out, with your love of the tattoos and artistry and the cuckoo clocks and things that are part of you. Is it hard when you are in the public eye the way you are, and you're talking about Perry being more up front and being the front man, but you are a personality, you are a pop culture personality. Is it hard to know, I'm going to keep this just for me, Do you know what I'm saying? Where you're not always revealing stuff about you.
Oh, no. I mean, things that I like and things that are interesting to me aren't really revealing anything. And those aren't like deep personal issues that whether or not I like cuckoo clocks, I better keep that to myself, or I feel exposed.
It's too personal.
Like I don't feel exposed.
Yeah.
But, I've also taken it upon myself, and years ago, I wrote a book and I put out a documentary that were about very difficult things in my life, and I think that the intention and hopefully the joy of that was to help others feel less alone that we're in similar situations, whether it's grief or trauma or drug addiction or any of the things that I've been through. You know, it's I like to share with people that there's an alternative way, you know, and that it is possible to get past that stuff. And even though the demon of addictive behavior may be with you for your life, it's about channeling that addictive behavior into an area that can be healthy for you.
Well, yeah,
So,
I'm sober for 9+ years at this point, and I just know that it was important for me to see and interact with people who were living a sober life, a happy and content sober life. But then there were also other people that, you know, like musicians, Trey Anastasio being one of them. I'm a fish head. You know, he had been sober for a couple of years at that point. When I saw, I'm like, okay, here's somebody that's doing it. And I was able to gain strength through them. And so when you do that and you're outspoken about whatever struggles that you have gone through, there are people out there that really do hold on to that and gravitate towards that.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I would say is that, you know, the company I'm running, Dual Diagnosis, is all about mental health. I put out a book that was about my drug addiction. I put out a film that was about my mom's death. You know, it does resonate with a lot of people sometimes, you know, if they've got similar circumstances. But, you know, at the same time, I'm not a doctor. And so those people will come to me personally and say, I'm going through this and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, look, I already told you what I went through and how I dealt with it, but I can't advise, you know, like a doctor would. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's, you know, you need to find a team of your own. But I think that that's not the tough part. I don't really think there is a tough part to it. I think that as long as you're comfortable with who you are and what you've been through and that, you know, behaviors can change.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's all we're doing. Like, I may not be doing drugs anymore, but, you know, now I'm in line at 1 a.m. at GameStop waiting for the next thing to come.
Dude, all right. Yes, that's exactly.
You know what I mean?
That is the right way to think about it. We all have the same doctor. He's kind of he's on TV in here in Philadelphia, and he says, if I have to, I will write you a prescription for a video game because that's the stuff. To get that joy of something that doesn't have, you know, like you say, you're not smoking crack. This is something you're into.
That's not going to kill you.
Exactly. That you can get passionate. Like, I love living through other people's passions, and it excites me to revisit my own.
WMMR.
Thank you very much, Kath. Our next guest that will be joining us, you know her obviously is the voice of Lisa Simpson for all these years now.
3 decades plus.
A lot of other great movies and TV shows. I go back to The Legend of Billie Jean as that character Putter, which I thought was wonderful.
Movie, yeah.
But true crime is really a passion for her. And this podcast that she's behind has been on for nearly 7 years and
it's a hit.
Is extremely popular and has one of the greatest names ever. It's called Small Town Dicks. I love that. Please welcome to our program Yeardly Smith this morning. Hello, Yeardly.
Hey, how are you?
We are great. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime.
That was a heck of it's 6 a.m. here in LA, and that was a heck of an anthem to wake up to, that song, before I came.
I know. We played Linkin Park. It was screaming, of course, in the morning.
6 o'clock. It might be a little much.
Hey, Yeardly, how long has this passion for true crime been in your blood? Is it something that's always been interesting to you?
I think so. You know, I think at the end of the day, and why I believe also we're sort of obsessed with superhero movies and the like, is we want the good guys to win. And I really do feel as though, you know, in law enforcement, if they're doing the job the right way, if there are people out there who really don't give a crap about people's rights or upending the way society functions well, you want to know there's an equally other dedicated group of people like law enforcement who are willing to come in and put the train back on the tracks. And so, and the stories of what these first responders go through, when you really get down to the granular detail, I think are truly fascinating.
I'm perpetually fascinated by this stuff, and in all forms, and it's there's many different elements to it. That specifically that you said, the people who commit their lives to trying to, help people who've been victimized, or speak for the people who might have been victims of completely murder or whatever. But there's also the fact that we're just fascinated by the people have this within them to do horrible things, and it's hard for us to wrap our minds around. You actually came through it. It's interesting because I understand Detective Dan was originally assigned to you. He's part of the podcast as well, as is his brother. But he was assigned as security for you at a Simpsons event. And is that where kind of the initial spark was created to do the podcast?
No, well, Dan and I, so we met in 2014, indeed, at a Simpsons event in one of the many Springfields in this country, of which I think there are literally like 62 or something, and which means that some places have more than one, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I said for this event, of which I was actually not supposed to be the person to go, I was a last-minute replacement. I said, what kind of security do you have for this thing in this little tiny downtown? And they're like, hang on, hold please. And they go away and they come back and they said, we're going to assign you a plainclothes detective from the local PD. And that was Dan. And I was 6 years out of my second divorce at the time. I was certainly not looking. Dan wasn't, he didn't even want to go to this thing either. He was, when the chief of police went to the pool of detectives and said, who wants to guard the celebrity? Nobody raised their hand. But Dan, being the most junior detective at the time, he's like, I'll do it. So, and here we are. 10 years later, we got married in, 2022.
Yeah.
And it's hard to remember when it's number 3.
Well, it's funny because you talk about, he has his twin brother, Dan and Dave. And so, and something that you've mentioned a number of times, and I believe this, when both my brothers are, law enforcement, and to hear like my younger brother Tom, who a police sergeant, talk about things that he's encountered, it's wild, and you get a different perspective on things when they're trying to intercede and help somebody. And the phrase that I've heard you mention, which is the truth, in any line of work that deals with this stuff, your worst day is there every day, because that's always what they're responding to. And when you put that into perspective, it adds a special gravitas to this. And I like the way you approach it. You use pseudonyms. You don't re-victimize the victims by using their names, actual names. And all that protocol in place, I think, means a lot to your audience.
Yes, it really does. And I will say, what I love about our fans is that even if they are familiar with the crime, because they recognize elements of it, although we change little details, we change relationships again to further obscure the identity of the victims. But even if you know the crime, our fan base is so invested in also not re-victimizing the victims that they have signed on to that charter of just keep your mouth shut about who it actually is.
Right.
Because that's not the important piece here. Not that the victims aren't important, but what we're doing here is giving the detectives perspective of how this investigation came together and the way the dominoes need to line up perfectly in order for justice to be served. Because if one is out of place, then the law, which is they have to really adhere to the letter of, you won't be able to put a case together and actually get justice for the victims.
Yeah.
Yeardly, do you mainly tackle cases that have a beginning, middle, and end and have come to completion, or are a lot of these cold or open or currently active cases that you touch on?
No. Yeah, we only do adjudicated cases.
Okay.
We never want to put a detective who's still working in a bad spot or to reveal something that they shouldn't have because the case hasn't been completed. And so, yeah, occasionally we do a cold case, but that's not really what most of the cases are. Some are years old. Some only happened a few years ago. And we do everything from, there's a great burglary case that Dan did where he put all the pieces together just from a Snapple bottle that was left at the scene of the crime, which is great. It's such great old-fashioned detective work, to DNA revealing an old, a murderer from decades ago, to everything. So, and we always say to our detectives, bring us the case that you're most proud of, or the one that is most memorable to you. It doesn't have to be the one that's the most well known. That's not what's important. How did it impact you?
Yeah, I mean, because there are so many police procedurals on TV, and they cover the sort of the nuts and bolts, but that aspect, the amount of the work that you're talking about recognizing a Snapple bottle consistency or something like that. And, that the dogged detective who stays with the case because it affected a family that caught his heart and that he wants to make sure, as you said, gets justice. That's the fuel for all of this. So let me ask you, how have your detective chops improved over the years doing the podcast?
I think they are better now when I watch, even if it's a fictional drama on TV, I'm like, oh, they did it. Or I'm watching, Dateline, I'm like, oh, I know who it is. Which is a little bit less fun than when I was less jaded.
Right.
But the upside is that I also feel like I'm much more situationally aware when I go out. I've learned a lot from my husband and his brother and all the detectives who've come on. But it is funny because I also do an editing pass on our podcast, and you just put on a different hat where you're like, okay, now I'm in this editing mode, and you really put your emotions in a box in order to hear these stories over and over again because they're gut-wrenching. To your point, the fact that there are people out there who don't give a crap about what they do to other people.
Yeah.
You just want to know why.
Right.
And that's the one thing I think we're never really able to answer on our podcast.
Yeah. Well, 36 years of The Simpsons, and now you got this as a hit.
Yeah, you're doing well. New season is out on Friday, by the way, for those who want to check it out. Small Town Dicks.
Best title.
Wonderful title, by the way, Yeardly. So kudos to you. And thanks for joining us. Good luck with everything, okay?
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll see you later. Yeardly Smith.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
It's so great hearing her you get a twofer. You're getting these very well done, crime detective stories told to you by Lisa Simpson.
By Lisa Simpson. It's just her voice. It's just the way she speaks, which is pretty awesome. So I saw this thing I wanted to pass along to you guys before it gets too far away. Where did I do? Oh, no. Speaking of getting too far away, I messed up big time, man. I was supposed to do a shard out. I got like multiple people emailed me a shard out.
The same shard out?
The same person, yes.
And you missed it?
And I missed it. It was on the 16th. And this is...
you didn't miss it? It's only 2 days later.
Well, I know, but I missed it.
He wants to be on the money. He's a perfectionist.
Well, mainly because it's Joelle Miller, who is a diehard YouTuber on our YouTube channel. And she's, like many people from within that community that watch us and listen to us on YouTube.
Joelle Miller
wanted us to get a big YouTube birthday shard out for Joelle.
You blew it!
I know.
No. We can make good. So Joelle Miller.
Yes. And there it is. That's your shard out. And by the way, she's newly engaged, it says.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if we've had any inter-YouTuber relationships
I
occur.
hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I'd gotten this from listener Heather, who said she's one heck of a young, sweet lady, an amazing baker and chef at the Biscuit Lady in Plymouth Meeting.
Oh, Biscuit Lady.
Yes. A movie quote trivia goddess and newly engaged Joelle Miller. And her birthday was on the 16th. So
we love you, Joelle Miller.
And we got that from a lot of our YouTubers who wanted to set
We
that
love
up,
the YouTubers, too.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
most
love
definitely.
the Biscuit Lady.
And Kathy loves the biscuit.
Did we have the Biscuit Lady by here?
We did, yeah. So she has a place in Manayunk, and she just recently opened in Plymouth Meeting.
Remember those biscuits? I mean, they're just insane.
You can do like just a plain regular old biscuit, or she does like sandwiches. She does like a dessert biscuit. It's the line. So she's only open Wednesday to Sunday. The line is out the door every day she's open, at least at the Plymouth Meeting locations that I pass.
Because it's only on certain days and for certain hours.
And it's till it's sold out. So she opens early, and then she will stay open until her biscuits are sold out.
Biscuits! Okay. Well, Joelle works there, which is great. Excellent. All right. I saw this. This is from Preply, a language learning platform. Set out to determine the U.S. cities where people are the most and least rude. So
here we go.
they had a survey to do this. They asked residents about social behaviors that they notice in their city and how often they see impolite things happening. And they used the responses to create a rudeness score used to rank the city. So
Are these all cities? Are these cities based on a certain population level?
No, these are just all cities.
All cities, okay.
And by the way, Philadelphia is not number one.
Oh, thank God.
We're number 2.
All right.
We can. All right. Now, my whole dynamic has shifted now.
Yeah.
I was thrilled we weren't number 1, but we're so close to number 1. I think we can do better.
So number 1 is Miami.
No.
Wow.
Huh. I don't know. And listen, you can take all of these with a grain of salt. Right. You know, none of these are spot on. But Miami apparently ranks 9.88 out of 10 on the rudeness scale. And thanks to things like lack of awareness in public, noisiness in shared spaces, and rudeness to service staff. That's where.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe that's the case. I always think I always think of it as a meter, a barometer. You encounter somebody on the street and you're asking for help or whatever. I think that would be that's your baseline for rudeness. But you're talking about how they treat servers and stuff like that. That's a little different.
Miami's on my list of places I never need to visit again.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were there?
Oh, I was there probably 20 years ago.
Well, okay.
I've never had the desire to go there.
We used to go.
You would probably hate it.
Yeah. We used to go like around the time, like years and years ago, the Fontainebleau and all the, in the classic days when it was kind of a little Vegas-y, you know? And it was, and even as a kid, when we would vacation down there, I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Like there's so many other beautiful places down in Florida.
Oh, my
I
God,
would
yeah.
skip over the mass chaos in Miami.
Do you know what Clearwater has become? Clearwater used to suck. And now Clearwater is actually, I think it's great. So there's a lot, you're right, there are a lot more places that have come into their own. You don't need to go to Miami.
Yeah.
You can flush the whole state down the toilet as far
You
as
don't
I'm
wanna go to the
concerned.
state
I'm
at all?
sick of Florida. Oh.
You won't be.
I don't
saying
mind
that come
going
spring
to.
training.
I like going to spring training.
Yeah.
We have a great time there, but just in general, the whole.
You had a bad cockroach incident.
I did, but just there's something. Listen, I know it's really judgy of me, but it's just I look around and I just don't. I don't like the way things look. I don't, I mean, the beaches are nice and that's cool, but there's something about Florida I've not dug for a long time.
You know what got me a little jazzed on it, possibly in the Keys, is Bad Monkey.
Yeah.
Well, that looks cool.
Yeah, I know.
But
that
also
looks nice.
strange people, just people that live in that environment.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but some people, you get some odd characters for sure who can be outside all the time, year round. I don't know. There's something about that.
I felt the same, like,
you know what I mean?
Like Louisiana. Like I used to love, I don't know.
Hell. I mean, I like going to Orlando. There's tons of stuff to do there.
Yeah.
With all the parks and the golf courses and things like that. Yes.
I guess you have to take everything and even break it down further. There are great fun places and bad places.
But the Philadelphia coming in second place for rudest, I don't know, man.
I tell you, listen, I'm going to say we get a massively bum rap. Coming from New York, I was born in New York, but that's also another place that's considered to be rude. But I'll tell you this, again, I say this, I encounter really nice, really good people. And then you say, well, you're on the radio, or people may know who you are. No, people who have no idea who I am, who are nice and pleasant all the time. It's rare that I have a bad encounter that I would consider somebody being overtly rude here. It just doesn't happen.
I get both of them.
Do you?
I get super rude and I get super nice.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, wow. The nice thing is like, yeah, that's awesome.
Send the researchers to Wawa and have them stand in the vestibule, and they'll see.
There you go.
That's
We
where
open
people are
doors for
nice.
everybody.
That's where people are nice.
And then have them hang in the parking lot.
Yeah, Pat House knows the secret.
So let me tell one quick story, because I had some friends that I hadn't seen in a long time, probably 15, 20 years. And they were in Philadelphia, and they reached out and they were like, hey, we're in town. Do you want to meet up? I'm like, sure. So we meet in Center City, and we had lunch. And then I just gave them a short little walking around tour.
Yeah.
And I was pointing to
Eiffel Tower?
Nope. I was pointing to at the time, it was the tallest building. It was a Comcast building. And I was telling them the story about the Billy Penn statue.
Yeah.
And some guy, average looking person, walking by, and just jumped in on the conversation and started. No, it was being really cool. Started adding some more tidbits of info to what I was
That's
already
great.
telling them.
Yeah.
And they were wearing like a Rocky shirt.
Oh, there you go, eating a cheesesteak.
Yeah, and I was just like. I was like, see,
There you go.
I turned to him.
Yeah.
I go, we get a bad rap here.
Right.
That person didn't know us, and they walked up and just had a great conversation. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I was going to say just yesterday, I was walking into Whole Foods to do my Amazon return. And I did my return and I was leaving. And there was a man and his daughter walking in.
daughter?
And he had stuff in his hand, and so I held the door for him and his young child to walk through. And dude didn't say one word to me. He walked right in, didn't take the door, and didn't say anything. I just leaned my head and I went, "You're welcome."
Yeah,
that's deflating.
I get
the common civility.
Like I said, I get both. I get absolutely.
Sometimes
both.
you can take that moment and make it a teachable moment by rabbit punching them in the back of the neck.
Seriously, I should have.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Kathy rabbit punch some guy in the back of the neck.
The other ones on the list, so you have Miami, then Philadelphia, then Tampa, another Florida city.
Florida's coming up on the short end of this list.
Louisville, Kentucky, Oakland.
Would you agree with Louisville?
I don't really go to Louisville.
Yeah.
I always go to Lexington.
Is it because of all the horses?
Family was. Maybe it's just that people are sick of the horses.
Goddamn horses.
Oakland, California.
Oakland has a bad crime problem.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Baked beans.
All right, every time
Right?
I say
Yeah.
a city, just
Yeah.
give me what first
Gotta be, yeah.
pops in your head. Memphis, Tennessee.
Elvis.
Yes, of course. Vegas.
Gambling.
Is number 8.
And hookers.
And on my list of never have to go back as
I
well.
agree. Well, Vegas, I do want to. I like the Sphere. I'd like to see, but Vegas for me is 3 days at most.
It's 0 days. I'm
Yeah.
never going there again.
Right. You had a bad experience, didn't you?
No, it wasn't a bad experience. It just I went there and I was like, "Get me the frig out of here. I want to go home."
Too much
All of
tourist
it.
trap.
All of it, everything.
You're not really interested in gambling.
No, and I didn't even stay in, like, I stayed, I knew someone that lived there. So, we stayed at her house. So we did other things than the strip.
Okay.
Just all of it. I was like, I don't
Didn't
need
get it.
to come back here. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Long Beach, California. Anything pop into mind?
Do that one more time.
Long Beach, California. And
Surfing.
then
Beaches.
there you
right,
go.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Webb.
New York's not on there at all.
Layover.
Layover to
Yeah.
Caribbean Island.
I'm
that doesn't have a
sorry.
direct
I'm sorry.
flight.
This list is effed up if New York is not on there.
Yeah. New York City is not on the list.
Even if the data proved otherwise, New York, it's
throw them on there.
Right. Yeah.
Classic story. My buddy Steve was in New York ages ago and walked up to a woman who was wearing an I Heart New York shirt and asked where Times Square was, and she turned to him and goes, "You want me to suck your D too?"
Wow. Was
And
that an offer?
she wasn't saying it as an offer. She
Right.
was saying, "Is it what? What do you want from me? What am I, a tour guide here?"
Okay.
Like,
well,
okie dokie
thanks
then.
for your help. I'll just find it on my own.
Yeah,
But you can suck my
And
D.
that woman was Dakota Fanning.
Wow.
So, take it for what it is. Now, the least rude city in the U.S. is Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha insurance.
They have nothing there, so they are kind to everyone. Please stay.
They're just excited to see new
Please.
people.
Why did you get them upset? They're leaving now.
Followed by Minneapolis, Minnesota, and San Diego, California.
Whale's vagina.
San Diego is another spot I would like to go to. I
I've
went there
never been.
one time, and I'm like, wow, this is gorgeous.
gorgeous,
I do think the world of San Diego, but in California, Northern California, stole my heart.
So pretty.
Stole my
the
heart.
mountains and everything.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why I had this in my mind, but when I was in my 30s, approaching my 40th birthday, I was like, you know what? I want to do my 40th birthday in San Diego. I want to have a bonfire on the beach, and I never ever ended up doing that.
And I want to kill a hobo.
Well, now I'm going to turn 50 in less than a year, and I was like, I want to do something for my birthday. So yesterday, I was
you going
talking
to
to
revisit that?
Well, I need to do something with my family, right? So I did the Grand Canyon a couple of years ago, and I wasn't with my family on my birthday, and that made me feel a certain way. So I was thinking maybe bonfire on the beach in San Diego, and then drive up to PCH.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
What makes you think you can have a bonfire on the beach in San Diego?
I saw it somewhere in a movie. So this person that I was talking to yesterday,
Oh, well then.
as it turns out, you can do bonfires on the beach.
Okay, around here?
No. This is in San
Damn
Diego
it.
specifically.
I want a bonfire on the beach too.
You can do what I did.
What?
You go to Montauk, Kathy, out by the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And you get tons of wood. You set it on fire, and that's when you realize there's signs all over the place that say no bonfire.
Rochelle and I saw a car on fire on the beach in Wildwood Crest a couple of years ago. That was fun.
That was a kind of a bonfire of sorts.
It was sort of, yes. They realized they got out there, they got stuck, and they couldn't get out, and they just floored it and wouldn't take their foot off the brake or the
that's not
gas,
gonna be good,
and it caught on fire.
But what this
Wait,
woman
Case, real quick. Where
Yeah.
did you say you wanted to do this?
in San Diego.
Diego.
So what this woman told me, who lives there, she said you got to get there. You got to get to the beach like 5 a.m. and basically stake your claim because they have fire pits that are on the beach.
By the way, do you want me to suck your dick?
Are you going to dispute what I'm saying?
Well, no, because I read on. So open beach fires outside containers are prohibited at all San Diego beaches. But Case, fires are not allowed between midnight and 5 a.m.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're saying they're actual structures that allow you to,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So you can't do any kind of bonfire on the beaches of Wildwood?
No, definitely. Not that I no, you can't.
No.
I've never seen remnants. I've never seen anybody out there at night burning. I just have assumed that it is illegal. But it would be cool to be out on the beach by the ocean, listening to the ocean with a fire going.
Yeah,
I
agree.
think of Point Break. Maybe we could get a little game of football going while we're out there.
Maybe that's where I came up with the idea of bonfiring on the beach and hanging.
I don't think they're in San Diego.
I know they're not in San Diego.
I think you can, Preston. You just need a permit, and you can't do it during the summer.
Bonfires just in by the very fire pits. I love that whole relaxing night, especially now we're in a good time of year as you start to get into the crisp air and you're out there. Case, I hope you can pull that off.
Yeah,
and honestly, if you take the Pacific Coast Highway, the way to do it that I feel is north south because you're on the scenic side as you're driving down, as opposed to being on the inner side. But that you played it, maybe makes sense. San Diego, the end of your vacation.
I remember we used to do bonfires the night before homecoming when I played Little League football. Oh God, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been to a bonfire in a long time.
They would have it over at somebody's house?
No, they had it on not on the football field, but just just below the football field near the
underground.
No. But I mean, they wouldn't have a fire on the field because you have to play football there the next day.
Right.
So
today's game has been canceled.
They did
We
it
had
just
a bonfire in the 50-yard line. We burned all the numbers off.
No, they did it just beyond the end zone, and it was they did it the night before the homecoming, and that was for me. And who knows, maybe it's just me being nostalgic or whatever, but. Just thinking about that, I'm like, yeah, I would love to do it.
Yeah.
And like now is kind of like bonfire season, is it not?
We were just saying, for fire pits, this is a perfect time of year. I'll do them occasionally throughout the summer, but I think through the winter and I love it.
No, this
couple
is
big blankets and
he's talking about
bonfire,
big.
not
like
a fire.
size of this room.
Like pallets
bonfire.
and all that. Yeah.
Some meth.
Why not, man?
Let's make a weekend of it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. We're going to go to this call. It's Chris who's on the phone. Hi, Chris. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Gadzooks.
Gadzooks. What's up, buddy?
Hey, about 4 or 5 years ago, so I don't know if it's still happening, but I went to a bonfire on the Wildwood Beach, and it was in October, like late October.
Okay.
So you might want to look into that time frame, and it was put on by, I don't want to say the city directly, but a group, if you will. Like, we were supposed to be there. It just wasn't a bunch of dudes with a bunch of beer.
Yeah.
So it was a sanctioned event, probably with permits and stuff like that. You're saying, all right, cool.
All right, thanks.
That sounds great.
I'll look into it. Yeah, I would like to do that. I do like the fire pit. I try to do that as much as possible, and that's only like 6 logs or so. It's not like a big, huge ass fire, but it does add some nice accompaniment to a beautiful evening.
Yeah.
So some nice meth. No, I would say this is that, I can sit out for hours, around a fire pit and just,
playing with the fire, stoking the fire.
And just looking at, talking about San Diego.
It looks like, and for some reason, I'm trying to click on this link, but there might be a bonfire on the beach. It's the Anglesey Irish Society in Greater Wildwood, JC's.
There you go, Preston.
14th annual
Bonfire on the Beach in
Bonfire.
North Wildwood. They called it up on the screen here.
October 19th.
Okay.
If there's enough beach left, they can do it.
6 to 10. That looks like a real deal bonfire. Those
It
are
does.
huge logs.
Yeah, like tree-sized logs.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of people in the fire.
I like that.
Check out.
Okay.
Yeah,
definitely will. All right, we should probably take a break. We got a few things coming up. We got Bizzare File. We have another shot at winning $1,000 with Good Money It. And we also have a secret text word today, by the way. Don't forget, we are giving away tickets to see Dream Theater. They are playing their 40th anniversary tour, and they're going to be playing Friday, February 7th at the Met. And tickets are on sale now for that. If you are interested in winning, just text the word secret to 39333. You'll be in the running for it. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a second. And like I said, B-File and Good Money It coming up next. Stay with us.
Clock thing, or just the different things you talk about. That to me is something that people, they sometimes seem reticent to allow themselves. Well, it's just crazy. Should I really collect that, or is that do it? Because we just don't think that way a lot of times.
Well, ultimately, we're all here for however long we're here, and we are ultimately going to dissolve into the universe or whatever happens.
Right.
So, do what you love, as long as it's not hurting anybody else or yourself. Yep. There's really, that this life was given to us for us to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I really feel strongly about that. And frankly, one of the things that I enjoy about life most is being able to perform with this band, and to come out and do that with you guys is what is that, the 25th, September 25th?
Correct. Yep.
I'm super pumped about that, and that's, I wouldn't be able to do that had I stayed on the path I was on.
Right.
So it's all, to me, it's all, this. I'm in the bonus round.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
I unlocked the little part of the game that allowed me to play in another room.
Yes.
I'm into it.
Dave, we're all excited about that as well. I wanted to ask, so every Tuesday we do a thing, it's called Tattoo Tuesday, and we give away a free tattoo every single Tuesday. And as a result, we used to do it here in the studio, and as a result, we've had several contestants and winners of Ink Master in our studio actually administering tattoo, which is really cool. Is Ink Master coming back to Paramount Plus by any chance? Do you know?
You know what? I honestly don't know. I heard that they were picking it up. That was the last I heard of it. The only thing that I can assume from not hearing anything is that they're rebooting it with a new cast. That's all I know.
That's all you know? All right.
In fact, I don't even know that because there's been very little dialogue. So I hear that Paramount Plus is going to pick it up. I guess they started a new streaming service.
Yep.
And, but I don't know. But I will tell you what's very funny about that is that Ink Master was a show that, it was on 10 years ago. It's hard to believe it was a decade ago that started, and we did 13 seasons. And then during the pandemic, Paramount sold a couple of seasons to Netflix. So now it's on Netflix, but these are old episodes. Right. But what that did was that opened us up to a whole new audience that had never seen us. And I started getting messages from people who were angry at me for certain people who got sent home 10 years ago.
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? They thought
it's
it
just
was
now. Yeah.
Fuck you for sending Josh home. He was the one. How dare you? I'm like,
oh my God,
Josh! I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's great.
But people get very passionate about that. I hope that when you give out tattoos, is there one artist that you use, or is there a resident artist? Or
there's
a shop.
Yep. Yeah, one shop, several artists within that shop, and there's a guy named Troy here who is he's a big name in the tattoo industry in Philadelphia. Actually, he is responsible for a lot of the tattoo conventions all across the country.
Yep.
So he has a lot of guys and he's also super generous. So
do they get to decide what they are getting, or does it have to be a WMMR?
They do.
They have to include
on the throat.
They have to include us in there somewhere, and it can even be very, very subtle. That's all that we ask. So
right.
That's nice.
The rabbit in the Playboy cover. It can be very discreet. So
some are more subtle.
Do you
than
want to know something funny about this? Do you see this?
That's the Playboy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a quick story. I was doing an interview with Hugh Hefner. And Hugh Hefner was talking about how the bunny, well, first of all, it started out, it was a stag. It was supposed to be a cartoon of a stag.
Right.
And the night before the release, he couldn't sleep. And he got up in the middle of the night and called the designer and said, I hate the stag. You got to come up with something else. So they scrambled at all hours of the night and landed on this bunny, which then became the most iconic thing, in terms of branding.
Wow. Huge.
And he went ahead to tell me that it is probably the #1 most tattooed logo of all time.
The Playboy Bunny.
I believe it.
Wow.
And so at that moment, I said, has anybody in the history of tattooing this bunny asked you for permission? And he said, no, actually, nobody's ever asked. And I said, well, then let me be the first. Is it okay with you if I get the bunny tattooed? And he said, absolutely. So I have the one and only Hugh Hefner sanctioned.
Wow.
I wouldn't have gotten this otherwise. But the fact that, what do I care? But the fact that Hugh sanctioned it and gave me the okay, and it's the only one that exists that's like that, was pretty special.
That's awesome.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty
That's
cool.
awesome. Excellent. Dave, we're really excited. Not only that you guys are playing the show, but that you took the time to join us on the program this morning. We really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to being out there. And are you guys going to be at the show?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. I would not miss your guys' set. So
We'll come back and say hello, will you?
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Dave.
guys.
We'll see you in September. Dave
Pleasure.
Navarro, guys. How about it? Wow. He's awesome. Super nice guy. And I bet you he could point to every single tattoo and tell a story like that as well.
What you're playing right here, I remember, Preston, when I first heard this song, I was like,
what's
whoa!
that? Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. After splitting from Kristen Cavallari after 10 years together, sources tell E.T. That Jay Cutler is on the celeb dating app called Raya.
This just in, Jay Cutler's on the dating app Soraya.
Psoriasis. Raya. No.
It's for people looking for other people with skin conditions.
That's cool.
Let's meet for some drinks and chafe together. Let's flake together.
Yeah.
And then I am on a site for people with vitiligo.
Oh, let's flake together.
No, I think it's like one that you have to be accepted into.
Raya. Is it one of these where you need
like some
you
sort
have
of
to be somebody?
Yeah, like
She's
notoriety.
right. Yes, in fact, it is the celebrity
notoriety.
Raya.
I don't know. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. Maybe it's Raya. Raya. But
Who really cares?
His profile on Raya says, let's see here. He's here just for friends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Friends will touch your genitals.
You can diddle.
Yeah.
Who gets to decide whether or not you're a celebrity worthy enough to be on this website?
I think they have actually a vetting committee.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I believe that's the way it goes. And they will determine. Think of it as there's like a Steve Rubel standing in front of Studio 54,
Right.
And they decide whether you're appropriate for this website.
So, well, listen, in honor of, was it International Geek Day? Or?
It's just Geek Pride Day.
Geek Pride Day.
Yeah.
I'd been working on an impression. You guys want to hear it? So, Steve, you do your Batman impression, but you have that...
processor.
You have the processor.
Okay.
I don't have a processor.
Are we supposed to guess what this impression
No, it's Batman. It's Batman.
Okay, go ahead.
Batman. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Please keep that kryptonite away from me.
Is that a line he says in the movie?
No, please keep that kryptonite away from me.
You sound like Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
Oh.
It sounds like it hurts when you do that.
No.
Please keep that cookies away from me.
Because it's a Superman impression?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I've been working on it.
It's really good. It's really good.
I got it.
So it's a Superman impression.
I was confused why the whole kryptonite
It's a
thing,
terrible
but-
joke that I heard with Chuck over the weekend. You say this is Batman, but you obviously say Superman line, and then somebody says, that's Superman. And then you go, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like, that's Superman. I told Chuck, I said, dude, I'm going to hang myself out to dry next week.
Yeah.
But you did it, man. You took the bullet.
Are we on air?
Yeah, we are.
I think we're still on air.
In fact, Bill's coming down the hallway with an award for Casey. That was great.
That was amazing.
That's an immediate A+. That's like my joke. Good morning, Cincinnati.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Please
keep that Krypton.
Just don't do one that sounds like Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
Like the thanks man thing, I was like, I didn't even get that part of it. So, sorry, man.
Nick got it. He was following.
I know.
I enjoyed every second of it.
And Bill's has that award in his hands.
Yep. By the way, somebody said we should make Bad Dad Joke Cookie Monster a character. So you have to do all the dad jokes.
What was the last one I just did off air?
The thing is that it was not attempting a Cookie Monster,
wasn't.
but that became your default.
Take kryptonite away from me. Toby, do you like cookies? Me too.
Me too.
Tonight, when you go back, a bunch of Transformers for the new movie, which is getting really good reviews.
And so apparently, I thought I was hosting a screening tonight of Transformers 1, 7:30 at the UA King of Prussia. No, I'm just going to see the movie. And if you want to come see it, I'll be there at 7:30. I mean, I legit, they were like, yeah, you can say something on the air and invite people. So if you want to go see Transformers 1 tonight, I'll be there at 7:30. Come and join me, UA King of Prussia.
People have to buy tickets, right?
No.
What?
No.
There's a free screening?
Yeah. And I'm only going to say it once because I don't want a million people to show up.
Okay.
I just want some people to show up. I don't want to be the only one in the movie theater, but
okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think they have a hit on their hands with this. It's getting great reviews. It is an origin story. It's before they actually become who they and before the battles erupt, but you find them as young robots.
Apparently, Optimus Prime and Megatron were
buddies.
They were buddies back in the day, almost like
it's Wicked.
Yeah,
it's Wicked.
Yeah.
It's Magneto and Professor X.
Okay.
It's that whole
It's
thing.
Abbott and Costello.
It is.
So they had a shared goal at one point,
right?
And it got twisted along the way.
I guess a different way to get to said goal.
They had a plan to. They were going to open up a business that made cakes the way you make pancakes.
I've heard of that before. What's the noise? Oh, the music's still playing.
The Transformer.
Let's get a look at traffic. We did not. That's weird. Hang on. Okay, yeah, I had the. All right, let's get. I had a fader up that shouldn't have had music on it, but now you hear music coming in. That means we're final look at traffic.
Okay.
Kathy, what's going on?
Westbound on the Schuylkill jams from Bear Avenue to South Street, the Boulevard to Belmont, and then from the Conshohocken curve out to King of Prussia, where the left lane is blocked with a disabled vehicle. On the eastbound side, it's heavy Montgomery to Spring Garden. 95 southbound slows Bridge to the Vine. Northbound side of Broad Street, an accident blocking one lane. The Vine westbound still jams the lane, 95 to the Schuylkill Expressway. Still a lot of things happening in New Jersey. New Jersey Turnpike southbound at 206 right lane emergency construction because of the earlier crash. The outer lanes, left lane still closed. And then on 55 northbound, you're jammed Deptford to 42 ramp restrictions because of a crash on the ramp. This traffic report brought to you by Adecco. Looking for a new job or the ideal candidate? Think Adecco. Visit Adecco.com to get started today. That's ADECCO.com. Adecco.com. When you think jobs, think Adecco. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
All right, we can share some Bizzare File stories. Right. Oh, before we do share Bizzare File stories, reminder, we have a secret text word. This is your last chance to text in before we take a caller and try and get a winner. Text secret to 39333. Tickets to see Dream Theater, the 40th anniversary tour coming up in February at the Met. Let's do the B-File.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizzare File.
Brought to you this morning by Liberty Safes of New Jersey. Route 73 in Mount Laurel and now at 500 Horizon Center Boulevard in Hamilton Township. Shop online at libertysafesnj.com. An 11-year-old has learned a hard lesson about running a roadside business. His family says his lemonade stand was stolen over the weekend.
Oh, man.
Come on. I'm not saying that he was ripped off. His whole thing, the whole
friggin' bar
was taken, and it was all caught on camera. The incident happened on Sunday evening, according to his mother, Carrie Rader, just 8 days after her son Liam's 11th birthday. Security video from a nearby business captured the moment when a silver pickup truck drives past the lemonade stand, then turns around and pulls up alongside Liam's stand. She said about halfway through the video, you can see he picks the sign up and reads it. In really big letters, it said lemonade, and below it, it said small $1, large is $3, saving for a dirt bike.
Aww.
Anything helps. Thank you, with a smiley face at the end. The man tosses a sign, takes a quick look around, and then loads the lemonade stand in the back of his truck and drives off. Dude.
This was a man. See, I had just assumed it was like high school kids, just, being high school kids.
Let me tell you what it was. It was an inside job.
Yeah.
The lemonade stand
It's the dad.
disappeared down the road in the bed of the pickup. And Liam waved, but it was no use. In the time that it took to run home and get more cups, about 2 minutes, his business was gone. It was in the middle of him out doing
Son
this.
of a bitch.
I wonder if it was like one of those like a-hole neighbors. There's no soliciting in this neighborhood.
Right. The security footage also captured Liam leaning his head against a utility pole, expressing his profound sadness.
I tell you what, he's going to get his freaking dirt bike, though. Someone's going to buy him a dirt bike or set up a GoFundMe.
Rader said, ultimately, I hope that he doesn't use this experience to think all people are like that and there's not good people in this world.
God, the lemonade business is so brutal.
So Liam had paid $100 for the table and chairs from his earnings. So he's
Trying to
already
make a
earned
business,
the money to
yeah.
do it. And then he bought the equipment and supplies necessary to build this. He's been selling lemonade for about a year and a half. Everybody who lives in the neighborhood knows who he is, but no one seems to know who stole the stand. The sadness of Liam's misfortune spread through the neighborhood. It was met with support that he wasn't expecting. A fellow business owner sent him $100 and a card that read, "Keep smiling. Don't let this happen. Don't let this happen to let you down." Whatever.
Yeah, use some of that money for English lessons.
Don't let that happened let you down. There you go.
Wow.
So far, there have been no arrests or any leads. This poor kid.
He might have to sell his Ducati.
Customers at a billion-dollar bank say that they're shocked after a worthless trip to the ATM happened. More than a dozen people received fake $100 bills marked with the words "for motion picture purposes"
Yes.
and "in props we trust" when they visited an Independence Bank ATM in Providence, Kentucky. Among the victims, Tiffany Vaugh, who withdrew $400 in $100 bills and realized the money is phony when she tried to spend it. She said,
how did it clear the machine?
It felt real. It looked real, just like crisp, new $100 bills.
By the way, you can buy those packets of those on Amazon.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's what somebody did. Somehow or another, they replaced, they stole to get the real ones and they replaced them with that. Independence Bank says that it will continue to work with their ATM vendor, and they said our customers also to assure corrective action. Independence Bank was made aware of a limited number of customers receiving counterfeit bills. And their team took action immediately. They closed the ATM, contacted the vendor.
I'd freak out.
And contacted the people. The U.S. Secret Service last year seized $21.8 million in counterfeit currency.
I went to get money out of an ATM once, and Steakums came out.
Wow.
I was like, what the hell?
That's where they frozen? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. A bucket of pool chemicals ignited a trash fire in Lancaster County. Crews responded for a trash fire this past Wednesday. They discovered a local resident in the area had dumped a bucket of pool chemicals out with the rest of their trash, causing a fiery reaction.
Are the flowers okay?
The combination, that's right, that's where you buy flowers out there.
We're just calling to find out if the flowers are okay.
The combination
I'll take a few burned ones.
Of the chemicals and other trash matter spiked a fire in the trash truck. The trash company
local Target
was forced to dump the trash into the road to stop the fire from spreading quickly.
That's right. They ask you not to throw out chemicals like that.
Yeah. Crews were able to quickly extinguish the fire with no damage to the trash truck. Police posted a public service announcement on their Facebook page alerting the public on how to properly dispose of chemicals and batteries.
What is more difficult, throwing out chemicals like that or throwing out a garbage can?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Trying to get him to take the garbage can. Yeah. This is pretty wild. An oncoming freight train smashed into a semi-truck, and that truck was carrying what appeared to be an M109 Paladin howitzer mobile artillery vehicle. In other words, a tank.
Oh, my God.
Super cool footage.
Damaged the street crossing. An eyewitness said that the 18-wheeler got stuck while attempting to drive over the train crossing, and the freight train that collided with the military vehicle eventually stopped.
Do you know what it looked like, Casey? It looked like Transformers having sex.
Portions of the road were closed for an extended period of time due to extensive damage to the intersection from the train crash. No one was injured. No word yet on which unit the howitzer belongs to or the total damage done to the train, semi, and artillery vehicle.
Man.
All right, we'll do one more story and then we'll wrap it up. A suspect in Colorado who incited a brawl at a Panera Bread remains at large. Video footage captured by Natalie Wiersma shows the dramatic altercation during which the suspect throws several objects off a counter at restaurant staff. A customer attempted to intervene, but an employee stepped in and repeatedly strikes the subject with a baking peel, which is a handled pan that's used to slide items into and out of the oven.
Oh, yeah. That's a good weapon.
Wiersma said that the brawl began after the suspect demanded their phone from the restaurant employees. They all looked super confused and said, "We don't have your phone." According to police, the suspect threw a smoothie at employees. And then yelled a racial slur at one of them. The suspect fled the premises before police arrived, but returned later, causing another disturbance. And during the second altercation, one person suffered minor injuries. Police.
This guy's freaking the hell out.
Yeah, it was weird.
Police were still searching for the suspect. I mean, flailing around in an absolute stupor. And then
I love this woman going over, beating him with the pan.
She's got the pan hitting him in the head, man. Wow, that dude was flipping. And there you go. That is what I have in the Bizzare File for you.
Panera.
Yeah, and in a Panera.
For God's sake.
All places. All right, we have about 30 seconds before it is officially 10 a.m. So I need to hold off just a moment before...
Get your confetti ready.
We'll reveal the word for good money So we got a second before we get to that. A reminder, this is a good chance, a good opportunity to remind you of this, because I mentioned this earlier this morning. Our big freaking deal this week, 2 adult combo tickets to the Bates Motel for the price of 1. So instead of spending $100, you're spending $52.
Yeah, and if you haven't been out there in a while, you will not believe what they've done.
Yeah, prepare for the Halloween thrills at Bates Motel, one of the most frightening haunted attractions in the country, located in Glen Mills. And if you want to get this exclusive offer, do it while supplies last. WMMR.com/deals, and that's half off. All right, it is time. We can now do this.
93.3 WMMR Philadelphia. It's time for a Good Money It keyword.
The word is worth. WORTH. We'll give you until 15 minutes after the hour to enter it. 3 ways to do it. You can enter it at WMMR.com or the MMR app, or you can text it to the special contest short code number, which is 45911. One random entry will win $1,000 in the company-wide contest. Each winner gets a call from Beasley, so make sure that you answer your phone. There are contest rules at WMMR.com, and it is sponsored by Horizon Services Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. So again, let me give you that word. It's worth. WORTH. Enter that now. We'll take a break. We'll come back in a moment. Kathy, while they're entering that, we need a secret text word caller number, please.
Oh, caller number 17.
All right, we'll take the 17th caller, 215-263 WMMR. Good luck to you. We'll be back in just a moment.
The cookie light.
Tell me, do you like to eat cookies? Me too.
Did you know that Mortal Kombat was
it from Finland?
No.
What was the joke?
I forget. It's something like...
My mother was born in Iceland, and my father was born in Cuba. That makes me an ice cube.
Mortal Kombat was based off of a Scandinavian song. It was a Finnish hymn.
You get it? Finish him.
All right, I like Van Danjo Cookie Monster.
Oh, man.
It's a thing now, Kat.
Yeah.
Kathy!
Wow.
Oh, God.
Anything to make you cringe, Kath.
Anything.
Pizza Hut seems to be trying to bring in new customers by reviving old menu items, and the latest is what they call the Edge. Part of the chain's nostalgia campaign.
My name is Bono, and I'd like to introduce a new pizza sensation to you. It's called The Edge. Some people say this is a revolutionary pizza, but it's not. It's a pizza that's been here before, probably in your own big fat belly. Remember what we say here, avoid the noid.
That's Domino's. This is Pizza Hut. All right, so it's called The Edge, and
It's called The Edge.
Pizza Hut considers The Edge. It was first introduced in 1997, and they call The Edge a tavern-style pizza.
Oh, yeah.
It's cut into 16 squares and comes in a cracker-thin crust.
I remember this.
Geometrically perfect and a taste sensation that'll rock your world.
And it will be available at participating Pizza Hut locations.
Order now and receive a mid-sized Coke.
Mid-size.
It'll be available at participating in locations nationwide for about $13.
So I did Pizza Hut just not that long ago. It was probably during Lent, and I did it because we had been talking about it. I'm like, I haven't.
You're a man of faith.
Well, I hadn't had a Pizza Hut pizza in a long time, so I ended up getting a regular pizza, and then I got the stuffed crust pizza. And I know that you guys are all out on stuffed crust. I thought the stuffed crust was.
You're a filthy animal.
I know, but I thought it was markedly better.
I'm not out on stuffed crust, but I just don't order it. You know what I
Too
mean?
much.
I know, and I
Why don't they just take a fire hose and spray cheese on you as you come in?
Right.
So this pizza, looking at it, I'm glad thin crust has kind of made its way around the country because I grew up in St. Louis. This pizza called the Emos. You guys know I've talked about it for years. That's what it is. It's this thin crust pizza.
Version of the Edge.
It's cut in squares. That's the way they've always cut it, and it's been since I was a baby, essentially that I've had that. So
Suckling at your mother's teeth.
I prefer this type of pizza. I'm glad that it's made its way around.
And so I don't actually ever remember this as a menu item. So
I don't remember this from Pizza Hut either, Steve.
I do.
I remember Domino's.
You do?
I do remember this, yeah. And I remember it because of the way that they were able to cram as much pizza on as thin a crust as possible and get it all the way to the edge, hence the name.
Well, this was kind of like you said, 97, right?
Yeah.
So like that was past at least my Pizza Hut days. I think the last time I had Pizza Hut, I was in like middle school.
You were not in college or on ordering pizza?
Was the time at downtown Julie Brown.
Wubba, wubba, wubba.
No, Nick, you know.
Wubba, wubba was the battle cry as they took to the pizzas. And the ovens flamed with the fires of edginess.
Wubba, wubba.
So Nick, we had like the famous like pizza restaurant that we would go to in Westchester.
What famous pizza restaurant was it?
More's, I think it was called.
That's a More's. It's love.
We had Oips.
College towns always have the the local pizza joints.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. The one at University of Missouri was Shakespeare's, and it was outstanding.
Original Italian pizza, Oips. Everybody ordered. Yeah, original Italian pizza is what that stood for, and that was the college town pizza. Yeah, so but you wouldn't order from OIP. You'd Oips. That's Oips.
Yeah.
All right, let me move on to something else. You had mentioned your mustard, Nick.
Yes.
You may want to try that on watermelon. It's the latest thing that people have been sampling. Lizzo kind of made a big deal about it on TikTok. So she had she made a video of her doing some funny TikTok things where there's some edits and all of a sudden the watermelon appears and so on.
So this to me, Preston, seems like the old thing of putting salt on watermelon.
Yeah, I grew up putting salt on watermelon. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But they had said it was to bring out the sweetness by adding the salt. And
I heard that on cantaloupe. Honeydew.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Same thing. Same thing.
Yep. Yeah, and I like them.
Any melon will do.
So here's the thing.
Doesn't matter if it's a cantaloupe or a honeydew or a cassava. Any melon covered in salt will bring out the sweetness of the savory. Living together on one melon the way we should all live together.
Now people are trying mustard.
Now they're trying mustard just like Lizzo.
Yeah, so, but the jury's out on whether she thought it was good or not. So she had called it, is it bussin' or disgusting?
Is it bussin' or disgusting?
But she never really...
Is it bussin' or disgusting?
In this video said whether it was bussin' or disgusting, so...
No, she doesn't. And I think, so the common thing of like sea salt and caramel.
Yes.
So to me, that does work. And some things that I thought would never work do work. I don't know about the watermelon and the mustard. It just seems to be too combating.
Yep.
I'm tying it into the previous conversation. We used to do mustard on pizza.
Okay. I can see that.
Did
I don't know. I'm not sure. Somebody.
Ranch dressing, Kathy.
Ew, no. That's just
You
for
said,
the,
"Ooh, no,"
that's
but
for
you
the
put-
crust, right? Or the whole pizza.
You can do the whole pizza.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
should-
I know.
we
I
should have
said,
gotten
ew, no,
watermelon.
yet I put mustard on pizza. Sorry.
We should have taste tested this.
Casey, when's the last time you've had ranch
Ranch?
dressing on pizza?
It's been a while.
Been a while?
At least like 2 or 3 days.
Okay. All right.
Do we have something that could approximate a melon and put some mustard on it?
Wait, I might. Let me see if I have.
Do you keep a melon in your desk drawer?
I might have
Kathy
watermelon.
brings a ton of fruit every day, remember?
Oh, can we try that?
Fruit salad.
Yes.
Go see if you have watermelon.
Yummy, yummy.
We'll try it.
Let's get it.
I'm sure
Kathy rises to the challenge.
there's got to be mustard in the fridge.
Yes.
Connor, can you go look in the fridge and see if there's any mustard?
Let's try it.
Or Marissa's already on her way. But yeah, I got to believe no matter what, it's not good. And this is just a thing that people have done to make you eat mustard on
Preston,
watermelon. Here, try this.
People are eating Tide Pods, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Here's a text. Somebody says, my husband always puts pepper on his cantaloupe.
What?
Interesting.
What, in prison?
No.
Oh.
But I've had, you know what? I've had fruit in salads before, and you put pepper. Like, you know, there's strawberry salads and things like that.
Do you know what I
Pepper on
do?
that.
So, and it's a weird. So, Honey Grow, I do the like a sesame noodle. Whatever they call it. It's a salad, I guess it is.
Okay.
But pineapple in that. So something pineapple and sesame. And a sesame sauce work together really well.
I could see that work. Sometimes when you have like a teriyaki dish,
yes,
there'll be
exactly.
pineapple in that.
That's the same thing.
Sesame oil in usually in that, so that'll play along.
It's great.
Let's see if Kathy is.
Jennifer melons. Where's Kathy's melons?
Hang on, here we go.
They're usually on display.
Not in a non-sexual way. In the way she has a 44-pound.
We got it.
We do.
So you got watermelon. So we can try this. Should I just hold off until we
hold
get this?
off?
All right. Because
Hold.
now we're in Braveheart.
Yeah, there we go. I got you.
Freedom! Do you want to live in chains, or do you want to live with salt on your watermelon? Ah!
Mustard!
My God.
It's a Friday.
It is a Friday.
I know. Wow.
Well, now I want to go watch Braveheart.
I think they actually
They're making love.
They're pounding the actual mustard seeds right
Pounding
now.
the mustard seeds. Pounding them out. 1 mustard seed. 2 mustard seeds.
Slapping them down.
Slapping them down. Slap at the base.
Now we've gone to I Love You Man.
Yes. Here we go.
Wow, they eat plates and
I don't want it. I don't want to have
I will
it.
try it.
You don't want to? Oh, yes.
I'm chewing tobacco, so I'm just trying to be healthy, guys.
Thank you, Marissa. That's
I
very
don't want to sully the taste of the tobacco.
All right, so we have each have a small piece of watermelon, and we have a little dollop of mustard.
Do a dollop.
Is this regular yellow mustard, Marissa? All right.
Wait. Don't
What?
do it. Oh, I want to do a countdown. I want to get everybody ready.
Okay.
Oh, we're all going to do it at the same time?
Yeah,
Just like they do in a temple.
I'm going first. I'm sorry. You guys, hang on. That way I'm not, I can talk while you guys are chewing.
All right. And 3.
3,
1, 2, 3.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, you're not a fan? All right.
That's horrible. There's nothing appealing about that at all. Not in the slightest.
Well, maybe it was the mustard. Get different mustard.
No.
No?
No. It doesn't belong on watermelon. Kathy?
I do love mustard, though.
I don't mind
And
it.
I love watermelon.
I think it's two separate things that I like,
I
but
agree.
I don't have the reaction that you have that it was disgusting.
I think it has to be marketed as 2 great tastes that are horrible together.
There you go.
Wait, didn't your son make you like a peanut butter and tuna fish sandwich once because he knew that you liked both?
No, it was Gadzooks ice cream and shrimp. They were 2 of his favorite things, and he said they must taste great together. I let him learn that one on his own.
Oh, my God.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to bring this up because I don't know when I'll have another opportunity to do so, but Stevie sent me
Okay,
this.
fancy boy.
You sent me this article about the best brownies in Philly. And it's essentially just a list, and it's huge.
There's about 50 of them.
It's way too big to go through.
We are in the best of times when it comes to brownies in Philadelphia.
Yeah, what I didn't know was how many places are known for their brownies. And there's a lot of them. So there's Cake Life Bake Shop, Second Daughter Baking Company, Franklin Fountain, Dolce, Crust Vegan Bakery, the
love
Frosted Fox Cake Shop. What's that, Kath? What do you love?
Franklin Fountain.
Yeah, but you got to make sure you're either A, ready to wait in line, or B, get there at a time where there's not a line, because it's really popular. It's fantastic. It's so good. You guys ever been? It's right on.
I have not, no.
It's on Market, and it's great. It's really
Is it a bakery?
It's like an ice cream shop, like an old-timey ice cream shop. Yeah, and so you go in and they have really good ice cream and really good dessert treats. So it's worth it. It's just not cheap, and you got to wait.
Nick, a friend of mine did her wedding pictures there.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it was cute.
It's a cool spot.
All right. Cookie or brownie?
Cookie.
Oh.
Man.
I used to be brownie, but I feel like now I would do a cookie.
Okay.
I'd do a cookie.
If I saw them sitting out, I would go for a brownie anytime.
Yeah?
Really?
I think I might go brownie.
Wow. Okay.
Because I do the chocolate chip cookie is my favorite. However, a well-made brownie. Also there's a company that actually, of the companies that do mail order brownies, Fairy Tale Brownies is a great company. If you've ever used them, they have their top level brownies. But yeah, that's neck and neck. Brownies are sensational.
Brownie or cupcake?
Brownie.
Yeah, I'd go with brownie. But you're a cupcake?
Cupcake.
Okay.
The thing with the brownies, though, I feel like, and I don't know if it's like as I age, my sense of taste gets even more sensitive. I don't know. But like, I feel like if it's not super well made, I can taste like the mix.
Really?
Instead of, yeah.
See, after you get a hysterectomy, that goes away.
Stop. I hate you.
Foo Fighters and Best of You on 93.3 WMMR. Everything that rocks, 14 minutes after 10. A day of which we were supposed to see some rain by now. I've just seen itty-bitty sprinkles earlier.
Yeah.
But they're calling for showers. Maybe that's more towards this afternoon. But some might get heavy during the evening. So just a heads up on that. Today's high about 75.
We're supposed to be getting the remnants of, you saw the rain that they were getting in the Carolinas?
Yeah.
And but I don't see it.
Clouds the next 2 days. Temperature is about 78 degrees, but high temp is. And then Saturday for MMRBQ, partly cloudy and 76 degrees. This is looking wonderful. So we're excited about that. I mean, it's going to be great no matter what, but when you get great weather, it just makes it so much more of a bonus.
I might wear long pants.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I might do that.
I might wear a full tuxedo.
I think I did last year. It's a little warmer in the day, but by the time the evening rolls around, you're happy you did.
I think I actually brought a change of clothes last year because we were out in the sun for a little while.
Will you change clothes with me?
I will.
Okay.
I mean, that's weird, but yeah, I'll do it.
We are looking for the 17th caller for the secret text word, and that happens to be Mike. So we will go to the phones right now.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike. Good morning.
Good morning, it.
Good morning to see you, Mike. Do you happen to know our secret text word?
Noodles.
Noodles. Correct. Hang on, Mike. Got you some tickets to go see an evening with this band that I'm playing right here, Dream Theater.
Wow.
Their 40th anniversary tour is Friday, February 7th at the Met in Philadelphia. Tickets are on sale now via Ticketmaster. Our random texter who also wins those tickets, Carrie Ann, who is from Harleysville, Pennsylvania.
Oh, do you know her?
My town. Of course, I know everybody there. So, Carrie, congratulations. You get the tickets too, and we hope you do enjoy that show. All right. Lesson question today. We are going to give away a $50 Botto's Italian Market gift card if you can answer this correctly. Steve's first crush was Debbie. She was 8. How old was he? This is when we were on Fox Good Day this morning.
Yeah.
So let's see if you know the answer to this. Steve's first crush was Debbie. She was 8. How old was Steve? 215-263-WMMR. If you heard and you know, you should call right now.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, we'll get some stories and we'll try and get an answer. Steve, what's going on this morning?
Sure. Well, John Legend, accused of being out of touch after telling the people of his hometown, Springfield, Ohio, to be more accepting after a recent massive influx of Haitian immigrants. Legend did not back down, however, reminding people that he was in La La Land. I don't know what that means. Janet Jackson admitting she had another infamous wardrobe malfunction years before the famous one that we know from the Super Bowl, when she split her pants all the way down while performing for Queen Elizabeth. Janet says the Queen was incredibly gracious, even complimenting her, quote, incredibly pristine butthole.
Wow.
Oh, my
And
God.
finally, Usher revealing to Us Weekly his secret for six-pack abs at the age of 45. The legendary showman says he's always been disciplined, and for the past 8 years, he has completely sworn off eating.
Yeah.
That's your Hollywood Trash.
We shall see if somebody knows the answer to this question. So let's see. Steve's first crush was Debbie. She was 8. How old was he? I will go to, let's see. We have Craig, I think, first here. Hi, Craig. You're on the air. Good morning, bud.
Good morning.
All right. So Debbie was 8. How old was Steve?
27.
27.
Wow.
Yep.
Good for you.
Well done. Hang on, Craig. I'm going to give you a $50 Botto's Italian Market gift card. You can find your own Little Italy at Botto's Italian Market and Restaurant in Sweetsboro. Botto's serves all Italian specialties and homemade prepared foods. Complete information at bottos.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
So, Dave Navarro issued a joint statement with his bandmates, Eric Avery and Stephen Perkins, after the cancellation of the Jane's Addiction tour following that big dust-up with Perry Farrell.
Yeah.
The guitarist had remained largely silent after the incident last week, with the exception of a cryptic message shared from his Instagram. But a full statement has since been shared by Dave and the bandmates, informing fans that they saw no alternatives to canceling the tour after Friday's shocking scenes. They wrote, due to a continuing pattern of behavior and the mental health difficulties of our singer Perry Farrell, we have come to the conclusion that we have no choice but to discontinue the current U.S. tour. Our concern for his personal health and safety, as well as our own, has left us no alternative, and we hope that he will find the help that he needs. We deeply regret that we are not able to come through for all of our fans who have already bought tickets, and we can see no solution that would either ensure a safe environment on stage or reliably allow us to deliver a great performance on a nightly basis. Our hearts are broken. Dave, Eric, and Stephen.
So we've had them both on, but Dave Navarro has always impressed me as sort of a get-along kind of guy, like easygoing, you know?
In a separate statement, Perry had added this weekend, and we read this yesterday, this weekend's been incredibly difficult, and after having the time and space to reflect, it is only right that I apologize to my bandmates, especially Dave Navarro, fans, family, and friends for my actions during Friday's show. Unfortunately, my breaking point resulted in inexcusable behavior, and I take full accountability for how I chose to handle the situation.
I'd like to apologize.
And the skull sealer. So,
sorry, yours truly,
the skull sealer. Yes. This was sad to see this morning. J.D. Souther, a member of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, known for co-penning hits with the Eagles, James Taylor, and Linda Ronstadt, has passed away at the age of 78.
The guy was amazing. Amazing songwriter.
Yeah, the singer-songwriter died peacefully at home in New Mexico. Cause of death was not given. He was born in Detroit, raised in Amarillo, Texas. After moving to Los Angeles in the late 60s, he formed a longtime partnership with the Eagles' Glenn Frey, and the duo briefly formed a band. They were called Long Branch Penny Whistle. Throughout the 70s, Souther collaborated on several songs for the Eagles, including Best of My Love, James Dean, New Kid in Town, and Doolin Dalton. And he would go on to co-write Heartache Tonight with Frey, Bob Seger, and Don Henley, which the Eagles would record and release in 1979, earning the group its final track to hit the top Hot 100. As a successful solo artist, Souther recorded his self-titled debut in 1972 before forming the Souther Hillman Furey Band with former Byrds member Chris Hillman and Poco's Rich Furey. In 1976, he released a second solo album, Black Rose, which was produced by Peter Asher, and it featured a duet with his then-girlfriend Linda Ronstadt. If You Have Crying Eyes, his two biggest solo hits, that was the song that they sang together. His two biggest solo hits included a 1979 single, You're Only Lonely, which reached number 7 on the Hot 100.
Great song.
And in the 1981 Her Town 2 duet with James Taylor. As an actor, he also appeared in a few TV shows, 30-something, Nashville, and Purgatory, as well as the films Postcards from the Edge, My Girl 2, and Deadline. The multifaceted artist was set to embark on a tour this month. And upon his induction into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2013, Souther was credited as a principal architect of the Southern California sound and a major influence on a generation of songwriters.
I was just reading something Stevie Nicks had an interview or something she'd written. I forget exactly what it was, but the long story short was she was bringing up the names of people who've had a lot of influence and sway over her style and her music, and J.G. Souther's name came up.
Yeah, and when they did that Eagles documentary, the two-parter a little while back, they talked quite a bit about him.
Yeah.
In that, so sad news there. And then one last story. For the first time in 2 years, the Deftones are hitting venues for a headline tour, and those venues are big. The Untitled Tour, with the Mars Volta and Fleshwater in support, kicks off in Portland February 25th. Hits some of the biggest venues in America. One of them, the Wells Fargo Center. They'll be in Philadelphia Friday, April 4th, and tickets go on sale to the general public Friday at 10 a.m. And that is what I have in music news. We're going to break one last time. We will get our letter of the day for the Word of the Week prize. It's a good prize this week, man. This full VIP hookup for the MMRBQ. So hang out for that in just a moment, and then we'll turn things over. Stay with us. I remember seeing the history of brownies and why they were created. And it was, I forgot the name of the place, but it was so that people could, I think, take them to the beach or something like that.
Seriously?
And so the brownie has a thicker consistency than a piece of cake. Like the cake would be too crumbly and fall apart.
It's more cohesive.
And yeah, so there's a little more goo to it. In case if you want to have some of that.
Goo. It's I need that sound clip from Billy Madison. Yeah, when he notices a kid peed his pants.
The thing about a brownie for me is that the cookie is a little more pedestrian, right? Like a cookie is sort of an everyday dessert, whereas the brownie
All
is...
right, fancy boy.
Right? Yeah, I feel like a little bit of a fancy boy.
You're too good for
Like it's
Billy.
special?
A fancy Nancy, if you will. When a brownie shows up, I'm like, look at that little treat.
Look at Nick with his little waistcoat.
Thank you.
No, I understand that. I think though that they're easy to make. Brownies,
right?
Brownies are easy to make. Brownies are super easy to make. They're just as easy as cookies. I'm standing firm on this. Cookies are far superior than brownies. Far superior.
Oh,
and there's a reason why there's more of them, and it's more because they're better. They're just better. And it's not. Hey, it's not to say that brownies aren't good. They're good. They're just not as good as cookies.
I think they need more of them to make up for the fact that they're not as good as brownies. They say, hey, we have diluted the market with this product, and we're going to try to catch up to the brownie people.
I think the tough part about, and the reason there are more cookies is because, and if you're talking like when you go to the grocery store, cookies are more rigid. They're easier to package. You can put more of them together.
Yes.
Brownies can kind of... there's a shelf life on them. Some cookies can last for a while.
Brownies don't have that luxury.
No.
And even if you do the brownie bites, which I think are sensational, brownie bites do have that preservative taste to them.
Let me ask you a question. Why do brownies have to be as thick as they are? You can kind of cut them in half first, right? Before you cut them into their little squares and stuff like that. You could essentially cut the tops and the bottoms
like a piece of brownie cake. Yeah. You can do whatever you want with your damn brownie.
Yeah. I don't know. Make thinner brownies.
Yeah.
At your home when you make them.
Yeah, our brownies are usually pretty thin anyway.
Yeah, okay. You okay? You all right?
I'm fine.
Everything good?
You guys, Steve.
What?
You cut me deep here, man.
How did I cut you deep?
Because you went with brownies over cookies, and I thought I knew
He feels betrayed.
I thought I knew.
I love chocolate chip cookies, but if I have if there is listen, they're right neck and neck, but I do love a damn good brownie. But chocolate chip, they're
it's like Godfather 1 or 2, Steve.
Yeah, it changes from time.
Goes from time to time. You lean one way or the other.
All right.
Goo! All right. There it is. Now he's got it.
I got it.
There's more goo in a brownie. Goo! All right. By the way, Steve, this list of brownie places, where did you?
I was in the Inquirer.
The Inquirer. Yeah. Okay. So you can
Inky.
You can go on and find a list of great brownies, if you will, if you check the Inquirer's website. All right. What? Okay.
Oh,
let me go to Mario. I was going to wrap up there. Hey, Mario. Good morning.
Oh, he put on his glasses. He can't see without.
Exactly.
What's up, dude? Casey wanted me to talk to you.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Hey, cookies are way far superior than brownies. You can eat so many more of them. There's different kinds of textures. There's only so many things you can put in a brownie.
You don't need to. It's perfect.
I'll tell you what the deal is, Mario. It's when you see a plate of freshly made brownies and freshly made cookies, you know you're more likely to encounter freshly made chocolate chip cookies. At least I am. But a brownie is like, oh, we don't get brownies a lot. I'm going to go for that first.
Look what showed up.
Right.
Yeah.
I will
there we
agree
go.
with that. I will agree that it will be like a special little treat. But I will also say that if there's a freshly made plate of cookies or brownies in front of me, I'm going for them cookies first.
So I'm going for the brownies because I don't know when I'll get another shot at those brownies.
That's right.
That makes sense.
Carpe diem, man.
Carpe diem.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming to the phone call. I just want to say I'm a cookie lover.
All right, Mario.
I mean, you can enhance a brownie by putting a cookie in it. You can enhance a cookie by putting a brownie in it.
No, you absolutely can.
No.
I've had brownie cookies.
Yeah.
I don't even know
you've
what
had
that means.
Brownies.
Putting a brownie in a cookie?
Yeah, you don't do that.
But what I've never heard of putting a cookie in a brownie.
You've never heard of a blondie, bro?
No. Well, you know what? I have heard of a blondie. I just didn't know what that was.
It's cookie brownie.
Okay. It's good. It's cookie brownie. A man who purchased Gwyneth Paltrow's viral "This Smells Like My Vagina" candle from Goop says it exploded, and he's filing a class action lawsuit.
Candles do sometimes explode. You've had stories about that, right? Have you ever had one explode, Kathy? Or at least I had one like pop and melt immediately.
Oh, okay. So no, like I've seen you. No, I don't burn candles in my house. But I've seen it burn all the way to the bottom, and like there's just a little bit. It's just liquid at that point, and then it shatters the glass.
Okay. Well, this splattered vagina all over the walls.
Vagina fight to the morning mass. This vagina falling, crashing, vagina falling to the ground.
Oh, they had a reporter on the scene.
Vagina catastrophes I've ever seen. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I can't compose myself. There's vagina everywhere. People trapped into huge labia. It's disgusting and a mess. It looks like deli meat strewn across the field here in Vegas, New Jersey.
Hair all over the place, and
There we go. My effects. There we go, sir. I can't even. My effects. I'm so distraught.
You've been pulled into a time continuum.
I don't know what's. Oh my God.
Would it be great if field reporters did have a battery of effects?
We should encourage that.
Sad time here out on the street.
Yeah. So according to legal documents obtained by the site.
And the vagina's not quite to the mooring mast. Oh my God, it exploded, it's burning, it's crashing, falling to the ground, falling. People jumping out. They're actually climbing down pubic hair to get down to the ground.
How big is this?
This is the largest one in the world at that time.
Yeah. And the majestic vagina coming over the New York skyline.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God!
It's burst into flames.
Oh my God, it burst into flames. Huge vagina on fire, over magnificently falling, crawling, crashing to the ground. People jumping out, hanging off the pubic hair. Somebody is jumping. Oh, fortunately, a piece of the labia is falling down and slipping as a mat as people jump down. They're falling onto the mat.
There's one large rope hanging out of it, actually. Yeah.
So thankfully, a matted pubic hair is serving as a rope ladder for those trying to escape the fire.
Oh, my God. All right, so Colby Watson says that he purchased the 10.5-ounce vagina candle online in January. He claims he lit the candle for the first.
Is it possible that he lit the wrong side? That he lit the butt side?
I don't know. Then the first time, turn it around.
Oh, yeah.
It's an old joke, right?
Yeah, well, the methane is back there.
He claims he lit the candle for the first time the next month. All right, so I've seen a new ad on social media for this erectile function.
The one that delivers to your home?
It's like you put it on your unit.
No.
Have you seen this thing?
What are you taping a pencil to your dong?
No, dude, not a pencil. It looks like almost like this horseshoe-shaped thing that comes almost to a close at the end. I have not really watched the commercial, but it appears to be like a C-ring that you put on.
When you said that, that's what I was thinking.
Right?
Yeah. So that the way strippers at like Chippendales will puff themselves up with
and then tie it off essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that's what this is. If
I'm Wilford Brimley for the Wilford Brimley C-ring.
No matter what size the good Lord gave you, the C-ring is adaptable.
If
you order right now, we'll throw in a bamboo steamer.
If anyone has seen this and has watched the ad and wants to comment or bring me up to speed on that, please give us a call, 215-263-WMMR, because...
Did you hear that Jerry died? I'm so sorry. What happened? He was trying some sort of new C-ring and he hemorrhaged.
Nick is pulling
Is this it?
No, that's not it.
No.
That looks like one of those things you throw against the wall and crawls down. What do they call those things?
The creepy crawlies? Wall crawl?
It's got little...
Wally crawlies?
It's Steve, it looks like it's got
Is that a C-ring for
French
that?
ticklers on it.
In case you're banging against the wall?
No, it was really weird.
I don't doubt it. I've seen a lot of...
Why are you targeting me with this? Why is this advertising heading to me? What's that all about?
Well, it's like when your mail from the local funeral parlors and cemeteries is addressed to you by name.
Here it is, Nick.
Eddie?
Eddie.
ED has become Eddie.
Red Hot Chili Peppers on 93.3 WMMR, Danny, California. 10:32 on this Wednesday morning, the Preston and Steve Show. Coming to a close. Failed to mention, Nick has not been in today.
Yes.
He's a little under the weather, and that's kind of going around because Pierre's out again today. And we'll find out what's in store in just a moment. Real quick, I would like to thank our guests on the show, though, Mr. M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
And composer James Newton Howard. We had a great conversation with them about music and movies and all kinds of stuff. And they are performing Friday night, night after night, the music of James Newton Howard. And it's going to be at the Marian Anderson Hall. And it's great. So he's composed some special themes that expand on what he's done in the movies and specifically the Night Shyamalan movies. And Night will be there answering questions, talking to the crowd, doing stuff like that.
You brought up the Elton John aspect, but James Newton Howard had toured with Elton John for years.
He did the string arrangements on like "Don't Go Breaking My Heart," and a few other Elton John songs.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, he's got a real cool history. Thank you to Yeardly Smith.
Yeah,
the voice of Lisa Simpson. She co-hosts a true crime podcast called Small Town Dicks. And the new season comes out on Friday. She was cool. It was nice to talk to her. Ryan Shuttleworth.
Yeah.
Hey, Presbo.
How are you, bud? Good to see you.
Great to be seen.
So Pierre's out again today.
He is. He was a gladiator yesterday.
Yeah.
And even gladiators need a little bit more rest.
So the door, when the door is closed, he's feeling under the weather. And then that door closed quickly.
Yes, as soon as he got in, but just needs a little bit more time, and he'll be okay.
You're just the man to cover for him. So.
Yes. Thank you for the kind words.
How about the letter of the day?
I am prepared.
Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
The Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by The Letter.
T as in Transformers.
All right, good one. T as in Transformers. We have a VIP package for the MM Barbecue Saturday. And that includes 4-pack of suite tickets, parking, and VIP club access. The tickets also come with in-seat wait service at the dedicated and the dedicated VIP entrance. Go to WMMR.com because we have another chance for you to win a VIP package for 4 there as well. Tickets are on sale now via Ticketmaster, starting at just $25 for the launch. What are you doing today, Ryan?
So after the A to Z, we got to get back into the swing of things. So the return of the workforce blocks. You mentioned the MMRBQ. So today, tomorrow, and Friday, we'll be celebrating with blocks of the bands playing the RBQ this year.
Yeah.
So we'll get into a little bit of that. Block of Weezer by request. And today we honor the life and legacy of one James Marshall Hendricks. We lost him today back in 1970. Wow. And also at high noon, if it wasn't good enough, another chance for you to score $1,000 with a keyword and good money at Cash Contest.
Ryan's got a lot for you, friends, so stick around. I am going to thank our sponsors. Preston and Steve, brought to you today by Duncan. Preston and Steve Show runs on Duncan. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, and Wilmington University. Find your education home at Wilmington University, wilmu.edu. Tomorrow on the program, it's almost Friday, it's close. Lizzie Hale. Will be joining us now.
Love that.
I don't think we've ever spoken to Lizzie. We've spoken to several female rockers that have been on various MMRBQs and whatnot, but I don't know if we talked to
I don't know.
Lizzie or
I know
not.
we love her.
Yeah, so she'll be on tomorrow, and we'll spend some time with her and do a few other things as well. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have yourself a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.